Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Monk.
What is good? What is going on? And what is cracking? I am Philly Foothills Fuego, and I am back in another episode of East Meets West, where we come to give you the best, and we're blessed to have you as a guest. Talk about our Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you all for joining us on another episode of East Meets West with my guys here, AK Eagles of the AK Eagles podcast, Gio from the 215 down below me, Victory down in the corner, and we got a special guest tonight. We got Philly halftime in the building. We're going to talk some Eagles tonight. This is going to be another great podcast, and we are also very much blessed to be bringing you guys this great content. Thank you so much for all you guys for being here. Like I always say, you guys are the food and the water to the channel. Without you guys, it does not continue to survive. So if you're feeling the vibe, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to all of us, because we all got our own YouTube channels. We are all providing you that great content, and make sure we are also triple live tonight. So make sure you hit that thumbs up on all three channels for us. We really, really appreciate it. And yes, we got some things to talk about tonight, definitely. But what's going on, my guys? How we feeling tonight? How we doing?
Doing good. How y'all, gentlemen?
I had to go get a temporary chair because the other one broke. I already knew it was gonna, and I'm kind of glad it didn't happen tonight.
Gio's breaking chairs before the draft. We're getting them.
Listen, for that content, we should have did it live.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And the silence.
Right, AK. What's going on, brother?
Yo, what's crackin', lacking? I am AK Eagles from the AK Eagles podcast. Stay fly until we die. Let's go. Great to see you guys. Welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was an awesome edit because I always try to throw in that uncensored. It comes in, but you did it perfectly. My God. You did it perfectly.
So Philly halftime, man. We're happy to have you on the show tonight. What's going on with you, my guy? How you feeling about the Eagles offseason so far, and the Dorino? What it kind of looks like we're headed to going into the draft?
Well, when we got Riddick, I was stoked because that's the guy I wanted. And we got two good linebackers, and it wasn't bad. And like I said, I knew the Eagles were going to make the trade of two first round picks. I was like, they're going to trade one for next year, and they're doing it. It's working out the way everybody can see it. It's just the pieces are just fitting it, and it's just doing what they're doing. How it's all coming apart just because that what's that guy that got hurt? That linebacker that got hurt.
Taylor.
No. He tore his Achilles tendon.
Taylor.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Ajabu?
Jabo, yeah.
Oh, you in the draft? Yeah.
Oh, in the draft. Okay.
So
Yeah.
in the draft, I think that's what the Eagles were going to go for, and it messed them all up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to save money.
You know what's another thing too. I've seen it today, like running around Twitter that Kyle Hamilton might fall below to the 10 even after the 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
From your lips, Gio. From your lips.
hey. If you can get them, go for it. I don't see it happening, but if you can get
Hey.
it, go for it.
No, I seen it pop up on Twitter. I gotta retweet it. And I literally I'll just find it. But hey, if you hear it from my lips, hey, look, he's falling below 10.
Listen, if that kid even gets past 4, we have to make that move. We have to make that move. And the thing that would be good is it would be a leap in front of the Giants, someone they possibly might target, and once again, we steal their guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would.
Just mess with the Giants one more time.
Let me get that cop
freak
tips
out.
video.
Oh man.
Appreciate that, Jerry Lee. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I want to salute to the 10 in the live stream right now in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you very much. So thank you guys so much. We got Papa Sor was in here, Jerry Lee, BLSG is always one of the first ones in the building. BLSG's always in here first usually. So shout out to him. NFL World. What's going on, NFL World? Blue City Empire Sports. What's going on with you? Thank you for being here. Our boy Jalen Williams.
Make sure you hit that like button like Will smacked Chris.
No.
Yeah,
I like that one.
It's good,
Too
Nick.
soon? Too soon?
No, never too soon.
No, never too soon.
So going back to that Kyle Hamilton thing, it was Mel Kiper Jr. That
Mel
said that.
Kiper.
Mel Kiper.
Oh,
I can never
Kiper.
pronounce his last name right. Yeah, Mel Kiper was the one that said he'll
Kiper.
fall below 11 spots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're talking about a draft junkie right there. Like this dude is like knowledgeable. Like check his track record.
If you can get them, man, I'd jump on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like you know, so the other thing I got saying in the draft, like I got Eagles moving up again with that first round pick, trying to maybe go for Sauce Garner. If this is the pivotal, and I was literally saying it to somebody. I forgot who I was saying it to. I think it was you, AK. We was talking about if Gilmore signs with the Rams. Matthew falls to
Hey,
us.
Nina, what's good? Appreciate you. Thank you.
If Matthew does fall to us, it'll change that. We're going to need a cornerback. But if he doesn't, he goes to the Saints. Gilmore goes to the Rams. We might have to change the draft board a little bit.
Well, I think with the Rams, for what I'm hearing, it's Tyrann Mathieu is the guy that they're focusing on. You got Donald out there, Aaron Donald, he's messaging him. You got Jalen Ramsey, he's out there messaging him. They're focusing on him because he wants to sign for big money. Now, it said before $18 million. Now there's talks of $10 million. Still, that's a price that the Rams cannot pay. They're basically just offering him the fact that we have the best shot to get you to the Super Bowl again. Or is Tyrann just going out for that bag? He's going out for the bag. It's up between the Saints and the Eagles. Now, I don't know how far we're,
The
we're
Steelers
going
in the
with
run
it.
too. The
The
Steelers,
Steelers, yeah. I don't know how much that we're putting out there. What's the top line number that we're going for? But for $10 million, Tyrann Mathieu, I think that's something that could be discussed.
That's a steal.
We're going to
Yeah.
get them.
That's something that could be discussed. I don't think that would be a terrible deal. It could be a 1, maybe 2-year deal. I don't know if that's something he's looking for. But again, I don't know what the Rams, because right now they're saying that's the top contender. I don't know what they could possibly offer. They don't have much cap space.
I will tell you right now, man. The Rams salary cap's about to be on my conspiracy podcast.
You're lying.
We need like a what is it called, the forensic financials, whatever, to get up in.
Right.
Just like they did to Washington, and they found out they were stealing money from the NFL. We need to get up in the Rams books.
I'm like, what kind of GM they got? I'm like, can we get that GM?
Supposedly, Big Play say he was telling me, he was trying to tell me they backlogging their players' contracts. That's supposedly that's what they're doing.
Listen, they're taking that Howie Roseman approach and they're just amping it up to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you know,
2025 is going to be a rough year in LA.
but in 3 years, literally, that Rams cap is going to be like effed up, bro. Like to the point where they have to let players go. They're gonna have to
But
let players go.
but I
but they're
think
gonna
that
get
they're
hurt.
overvaluing what the cap is going to be, because everybody knows every year it's a different. We know with TV deals that that makes it bigger depending on what happens. But I think they're overvaluing it right now. And with the Rams, they've done it before. That's how they got the Super Bowl last time. They'd rather risk it now and worry about that later. And so far, it's worked for them.
They got a Super Bowl out of it.
Yeah,
And they went to one before.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Leslie's gonna wear. You know how he wore the F the picks thing? Is gonna put F the cap this
Wait,
year.
Papa, can you put up the comment that Papa put down? The last one, please. That is hilarious. We definitely need a 30 for 30 on the salary cap on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yo, what's going on, Ed? Appreciate you, sir. Thank you
Hey,
for
what's
stopping
going on,
in, bro.
Ed? Hey, it is a myth, man. A lot of people have been saying it. Like, hell, we were just joking about it earlier. I forgot it was me and somebody else, another content creator. They were saying that it's down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and they talked about it this week. Like, if you heard the deal that Bobby Wagner pulled off, he negotiated his old deal. So once that happened, it looks like they put out like the terms of his deal out there, trying to embarrass him. But again, he got paid. But the deal's pretty much backloaded, and that shows what they're doing. They're backloading everything. So everything, all these contracts that you hear of now, yeah, they sound great when they present it to you, but in actuality, that's not what they're making. All you got to hear is the guaranteed money. After that, nothing's there. Guarantees the only thing you can take for in that contract.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you at halftime. You saw the Eagles play this past season. You see the moves we've made here in this off season. What did you see this past season, and what we're transitioning into? How do you see this team developing come this year?
I think you're going to have the same product out there that you had last year. And all they're doing is hoping that Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy, but they're not putting weapons around him. And when you don't put weapons around somebody, then how is he supposed to be better? When you got Whiteside. I mean, they called Whiteside the enforcer. I'm like, really? You're going to call him an enforcer? He's the best blocker. He's better than our front line. He's the best blocker we got. It's like, dude, you have to get real, and you got to put weapons around him. You need running backs. You're not. I like a two-headed monster. Always will. That's how I am. You got like a guy that can pounce on the ball, and then you got that guy that can go quick. So they're not ready for that. They're not ready for the quick guy. They're ready for the guy that's going to just hurt them. But you're going to have the same product because of your wide receivers. You got the same wide receivers. You're not getting nobody to help them out. Devontae Smith is saying, "Hey, please give me somebody else that can help and give us a little bit more time, so I'm not getting double teamed." Or if you're going to throw it to Reagor, let him catch the ball. So everybody's against Jalen Hurts, and they're saying how bad of a passer he is, and he needs to work on his reading defenses and all. There's sometimes that he threw it to people, and it bounced out of their hands. You could throw it to your front door, and the receiver is missing it. So it's not always Jalen Hurts' fault. Then again, you got like the coach has some stupid plays that he came up with, and I think you're going to deal with that again this year. Everybody, it's a learning curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Like it was some of the receivers' fault. They had to get in the same pace with Jalen Hurts. Not only that, he kind of like distrusts the lineman, always breaking out the pocket too early, making unnecessary throws. The throws got to be better. Like I said, his throwing motion has to. One thing that I said he got to work on is that zip. he has to get that quick release out, just in case. Another thing that you did mention, what was the other one that he did? The two-headed monster. I did like the Jordan Howard and Boston Scott thing we had going on. Not only with Boston Scott, we had Boston Scott and what's the other guy's name?
Gainwell.
Gainwell.
Yeah, Gainwell. No, the other one. That he showed up at last minute out of nowhere. There was a no name.
Howard,
Was it
Jordan
not
Howard?
Howard? No, we had
Yeah,
Miles
Jordan Howard
Sanders.
came in late in the year.
We had
But then you
Miles
had
Sanders,
talking about
Jordan Howard, Gainwell. We had another dude that we signed from the practice squad, and he showed up at the last minute.
Is it on Holyfield or Hunter?
Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need another. We needed another running back regardless. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
we just got to
If
keep that. Yeah, I don't think it's Hunter. It was. We was hype. A
It's
lot of
Huntley.
Huntley, I said Hunter.
Huntley.
Oh my
There
God.
you go. Yeah, Huntley. It was Huntley for sure.
Well, if I can get this red beam off my face, I have to mention in the draft we have to get Jordan Pierce. Papa, you could put the freaking crossbow down. Put it down. Damian Pierce is someone that we should look at in the draft. Let me just mention that now before I get shot.
No, there is a couple people in this draft I wouldn't mind looking at. I've always been for it. I always have said it, man. I'm okay with having a two-headed monster. We've always had one. I mean, even in the Super Bowl run, we had a Jaheim Blunt. So it's always good to have two people who can run the ball and dominate because it's always fresh legs. The less you have to use them, the more healthy they are long term. So, hey, man, I'm all for it because dual threat halfbacks, man, they can truly wear down a defense. I mean, look what Cleveland does with Chubb and Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
They dominate and they truly can wear down some defenses, and that's what you need. And that's all. They also open up the pass game tremendously. So definitely need it.
Yeah, I think for the Eagles, for the most part, we were spoiled when we had LaShawn McCoy. He was the guy who could do everything: running, receiving, you name it, cut on a dime. I mean, that's what he stood for. And they saw that in Miles Sanders. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to produce, and he's not at the level of Shady. Let's be honest. And we've seen his comments this week. He said he's taking this year personal. But for us now, when we're looking at it, is why wasn't year one personal? Why was it year two personal? Why has it taken so long for it to become personal? We saw that you're a good running back, but again, in crunch time, especially in the red zone, kind of disappeared. We need a back that's going to be our leader. We need a 3-down back. We don't need a guy that's going to be a rotational piece. I love the Thunder and Lightning. I love that look. But again, that's something that we're going to have to do because our current running back right now can't handle the load. Pause.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get Marvin Gordon. Nobody's going for him.
Well, and honestly, I got to ask you guys, and you all can answer this, please. What does Miles truly have to do this year, and what is there any hope that he stays? I mean, say he comes out and he gets like 1,300 yards and like 8 touchdowns. Are you thinking just like a 1-year prove it deal, or are you at the point where you're just like it just truly doesn't even matter?
Well, me personally, I think if he does 1,300 yards and he stays healthy, then you have to let him go for one more year because 1,300 yards by a running back, that's really good, and you need to do that. I mean but I don't see that happening.
No. But I mean, to say he would though, like you kind of have to almost be like a 1-year prove it deal if he wants that.
Yes.
I mean, but some people are probably going to be kind of harsh though too, and be like, it doesn't matter. They're a dime a dozen. So I get it either way. But what do you think, Gio?
I mean, it would be like a make it or break it deal, honestly. But it is a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? There's running backs everywhere. It just depending on the team that they go to in the system. Like you have running backs that come from a different team that don't do good, and then they go to another team. You had Latavius Murray for example. He went to the Vikings, lit it up there, and then I forgot the team that he went to after that. Made his name there. You know, you got teams that like that light up that fire and that juice. It depends on the system. Like I said, um, we would just have to draft it. Honestly, I still have a draft and a running back in the fourth and the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damian Pierce. I don't have the red beef in my head, but I had him in my mock drafts before like Papa started like raving about him or whatever. But yeah, he is somebody I do want in the Eagles, man.
Yo, shout out to Joey Shake 72. Appreciate you for stopping in, man. He's always been a supporter, and thank you, man. Appreciate it. Steven Nelson, the Texans, Eagles are out on Gilmore. I'm smelling a corner in the first round. I hope it's about time. Nah, I 100% agree with you, man. I truly think this is the year it happens. We will see, though, man. But I'm 100% with you.
We saw Sauce was in the building the other day, 2 days ago.
Yep.
Yep.
So, they're taking that cornerback position seriously. Now,
Booth was in the building too, right?
What's that?
Booth was in the building too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
I'm high on Booth. I like Booth.
Yeah.
And you also have Stingley out there. So, and
Papa, listen, we'll give you one Florida player, but you can't have two. Come on, now you're pushing.
No.
We know you're going to get Pierce, Papa. So you just got to bide your time. Don't take him in the first round.
Come on, Richie. You're killing me, dog.
What did Richie say?
No, 1,300 yards for a rigger. Now you're dreaming, sir.
Yeah, a little bit.
Appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna have to agree with Joey Shakes on this one, where he says I don't want McDuffie. Neither do I. McDuffie's a slot corner. We already have a guy in the slot. There's no need to draft him. We need a big physical outside corner, not an inside guy.
Yeah, you know what? I was big on McDuffie, but we don't need another slot cornerback. We need we need somebody to line up with Slade and put Avonte Maddox back in the slot.
McDuffie.
No slot on the Pac-12, but I can't trust any corner from the Pac-12.
It's just his wingspan is too short for me. He had that was the only con that I had about him or whatever when and his height, but I did have him in the mock drafts that I was picking him. It was like 2. I did in my mock 2.0, but I did now the reality. I do see us trying to either get Booth or Gardner. Hey, if Stingley's there, hey, get Stingley too.
Listen, man, I am not moving Maddox out of slot. That guy had the number one coverage out of all slot corners this past year at 71%. I am not moving that kid at all. He is staying right there, and that's where he's going to play for the rest of his career. He ain't moving.
Yeah, what Jim Schwartz was seeing in him on the outside as opposed to being in the slot, I don't know. Because it was a absolute world of difference. By far, in the secondary last year, Maddox was the most improved from the year before, by far.
Mm-hmm.
I think he saw probably a little bit of Ronald Darby and thought that could work on the outside. But again, get the natural slot, let it stay.
Yeah, Ronald, get on your horse and get to the Derby.
I got a question for you guys. What do you think about Booth? Am I wrong about him? Is he not that good of a corner? I mean, what I see of him, I think he's fast and he's just a shutdown corner to me. But yeah, I'm wrong.
I mean, to me, a couple of his downfalls is he can be a little too physical, and that may get him flags at the next level. And he also tends to be a little too aggressive, and sometimes he can get beat on double moves, or he may try to jump a route and he'll get burned.
His reads is also a con too on some of his defensive offensive reads.
I like the aggression. He kind of reminds a little bit of Jalen Ramsey with that aggression and how he plays. He got that mouth.
Mills was like that.
It's just like you said. He just needs the right tutelage. You put the right.
Remember when Jalen Mills was like that?
Yeah, he can go far. Again, he got the size, he got the speed. He just needs a little coaching up.
Yeah, well, that's like Ramsey. That's the perfect guy that I was thinking that he would be like. I'm like, he has the tools to be like him, but me, I didn't know. I don't know. I can only tell you what I say, and everybody has a different opinion. I was just trying to figure out your guys' opinion.
No,
No,
I
no,
like
no,
it.
no. Oh, yeah.
And when you look at we always talk about it. Look at the competition that he's facing week in, week out in the SEC. He's
Yeah.
basically playing in a AAA NFL league. So
Yep.
any guy that comes out of it gets credence. And I know we got burned before with Travon Walker, but that was a fourth round pick. We're talking about someone that could be in the first.
Right.
You know, I've said it about him before. Booth has all the traits to be the best corner in this draft if he could put it all together. I don't actually mind a physical corner. Somebody who is somebody that's going to get up in their face, somebody that's going to compete, get a little handsy. Listen, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. They draw flags sometimes. I understand that. But you know what? You can work with that. Because we've noticed there is certain games you can get away with doing it, and there is certain games you can't. It all depends on who the refs are. But as he gets older, as he matures, that aggressiveness can stay, but the hands part can get a little better. They teach that. So I'm okay with that, especially after seeing Nelson play off last year, 5, 6, 7 yards, and just being soft. I want a guy who can play like Slay, so to speak, that is not afraid to press up and get physical. Because just being able to slow down a wide receiver for just 1 second makes a ton of difference when it
Ton
comes
of
to
difference.
scheming.
You ain't lying there. A ton of difference. And that's what you need. You need a shutdown corner. You need to have shutdown corners.
Yeah.
And he would be an awesome fit next to Slay. I mean, how I say it, but
Hey, you bring up a good point because who else to learn from the best. And
right.
like I said, he needs a little tutelage. You got the coaching staff, but then you also have Darius Slay on your other side, and that's a great teacher to learn from.
Yeah.
It is absolutely is. I mean,
But it starts with that front line too. The trenches got to get busy, man. They got to make the plays and put that pressure on that quarterback. For our defensive backs to be able to get the nag on the ball, whatever, and disrupt the receivers a little bit.
no doubt.
You got to be able to get to him. We can't.
Right.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is that they if we do what we need to do in this draft, if we get an edge rusher, if we get a defensive tackle, that can really make our defensive line pretty damn. I mean, we're going to be one of the best defensive lines in the league. I feel that, especially if we get someone like if we get one of those guys from Georgia, those are going to be one of our defensive tackles for years to come. And if
You
we
think
get,
this would be there?
I mean, as far as Jordan Davis and
Yeah.
and
Right.
Wyatt, yeah, I think one of them or both of them could still be there at 15. I do.
Listen, a
Why is
lot
a
of
lot
people
of people
talking
not
about Davis now, saying he's lazy. He takes off plays. Like they're trying to devalue his stock. So I'm pretty sure he'll be available.
Bro, I heard the
They're
other way
basically saying
around.
he's a two down lineman. That's it.
You heard the other way around.
I heard the other way around, bro. I heard Wyatt is the one that's like that, and then his draft is falling, bro.
But see, that's
Literally.
the issue.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
like
saying.
the
It's going back and forth. Yeah.
that's how they do you before draft. But yeah, like literally, I think it was Bleeding Green. I want to say they just put out. I just read it today how they were talking about like he's only a two down player. He takes off. You know, that's still something that the Eagles can use in their rotation because that's what he would be ultimately. But again, that's the way he's being looked at. And how you said before, why he's looking at a guy to take off plays. When you look at his production, it doesn't equate to that. We're talking about players like Thibodeau and Hamilton falling. I think right now there's like a lot of subterfuge, a lot of misdirection out here. It's kind of hard to bring up heads or tails. But I think the way you kind of like read between the tea leaves, is you got to look at their college coaches and what they say about them, how they talk about those players. They're the ones who they're day in and day out with.
No doubt.
Who's got the next question?
I mean, I got a question for you guys. Do we think that Darius Slay is the top 5 corner in the league?
Oh,
No question asked.
Definitely.
Top 3,
hold
Top
on.
3. Okay.
in my opinion.
All right, Gio. I like that confidence. Philly halftime. What do you think? Do you think, honestly, do you think Darius Slay is still a top 5 corner in the league?
If he's not top 5, he's at least 6. So he's there. I say he's there, but there you might. I think he's still there. I think he still has it. I think he's around 5. If you go around and look at all the corners that are out there, I think he's still top 5. If people pick it, and if he's out of 5, he's 6. But he still has that speed. He still knows how to pick it off. He leads the guy open, and that guy thinks, "Oh, this guy left him wide open," and it's not. He's on the ball. So I think he still has it.
Looks like most of the chat thinks he's top 5, at least
Yeah.
top 8. Richie, but
I agree with you.
I got-
He's a top 3 talent, man.
I got
Especially when you
Jalen
look at his
Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey. I got Jair Alexander, and then Slay. Tre'Davious right, then Trayvon Diggs. That's my top 5 right there.
well, because I have to agree with that. At least, I mean, he's definitely in my top 5 for sure, hands down. Because when he's able to get that ball in his hands, and we even seen them put him out there on offense as a little bit of a decoy. They didn't really use him on offense, but I mean, he's got that nose for the end zone. When he gets the ball in his hands, whether it's an interception, a fumble recovery, he's looking to take it to the house. He is looking at nothing but the end zone, and he's not paying attention to anything else. Really, he's like he gets in that autopilot, and he's like a bloodhound to the hunt. He's ain't nothing much going to stop him.
I just never seen Slay I never seen a cornerback in Eagles history just jump on the pole in the stands like that, bro. That was electric, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yo, like
that was pretty cool that day.
he was a difference maker last year, man. Like he literally was a game changer. When our
He
defense was down, he came out of nowhere and always was spot on with the play.
And I think he just put that in front of Jonathan Gannon, bro, because like he literally didn't let him loose, bro. He was just like, he was like, all right, I'm gonna just do my own thing, and do what happened.
I mean, we could have easily lost that Carolina game early in the season if he doesn't, make an interception in that game to, get us points. I believe we got points off that interception. I'm pretty sure we did.
It started everything off.
correctly. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and like you guys say, he's a spark to our defense. He's our leader back there now. Especially, now that McLeod's gone, he's definitely going to be that leader. Him and Anthony Harris, they're going to hold it down back there.
That's my question was, on defense, who's going to be the leader? Like, who's going to step up and like get in somebody's face when they're not producing like they should? Like, yo, you get paid so much millions of dollars. Step the hell up. Stop slacking and act like it's just another day.
Well, it would have to be somebody from the front line, honestly, because we just got rid of Rodney McLeod. He went to the Colts, so that's one defensive leader.
Right.
I guess that's why they were trying to bring in the Tyrann Mathieu, like I said, because he has that leadership ability. But if I don't see it, it'll be BG or Fletcher Cox. Honestly,
Yeah, I was gonna say Fletcher got to be that guy because he's been here long. He's tenured. He's that guy making that money, and we seen him last year when it finally got to him. He spoke up. And, I always have an issue when we always have this conversation of who's the leader of the locker room. It should be no question Fletcher Cox. That should never be an issue. He should always be that guy to stand up because, like I said, he's been here for a time. BG's another guy who's been here for a while. He's another guy who should be able to speak up. Darius has been here long enough where now he can speak his mind. I think those 3 specifically have to mold this young team because that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at a younger defense coming through, so we're going to need some leaders.
I agree with Joey. Honey Badger will be the leader.
Yeah, if he comes
Yeah.
here, yeah.
I hope so.
That's why. That's the one thing.
Even as a
why I
first year
want him.
Eagle, I think he could. Yeah.
But I think that's wild to be a first year player and he's already the leader. That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
hold on, he has a fire on him. You watch him.
Hey.
He's in everybody's face, and any given time, he's always in somebody's face. Like, yo, step the hell up. Like, I don't want. That guy does not like to lose. By no means he don't like to lose. You can always see he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that's why I like him.
Hey, we need that, man. The last time we had somebody with fire like that was B-Dog.
Yeah.
B-Dog told you off in a good way. Like, he told you in like a religiously way, but you know it was Brian Dawkins talking to you. That's how it's just the impact they had with the Eagles, bro. Not just defensively, he had the offense too, bro.
Yeah, and to bring up the team you're talking about too is that defensive line too. Like they had camaraderie. Like that was a group. That was a unit. Linebackers, they had their unit. That's why like they all stepped up together. I don't know if I could say our defensive line right now how young that mixing. There's always new guys coming in every year. So I think they got to solidify themselves too. Like they got to gel together.
I think to a certain degree, Hassan Riddick could be a leader on the defensive side too. He's got veteran experience.
Yep.
He's tough. He plays. We could put him at the linebacker. We could put him at defensive end. He's going to be kind of that rover type of player. But I think Fletch can. I think he has the ability to become more of a vocal leader. He's never really been that kind of. He's more of been that quiet kind of I'll show you with my play type of guy. Don't get me wrong. He definitely expresses his opinions to coaches and shit when he gets pissed off on the sidelines. I think he needs to kind of let that. He needs to kind of dive into that more as a personality trait and kind of be more of a vocal leader and really kind of set the tone for the defense because the players will respond to him. They will listen. They will kind of fall in line because when a guy with that strong of a reputation, when he speaks, they tend to listen. And they tend to take notes.
All right, I got a question for you guys. I want you guys to answer. How many sacks? We're just gonna. I just want to hear your predictions now.
If you say Derek Barnett, I'm going to throw my headset across the room.
No.
Put my head to the wall.
Listen, first off,
I
I'm not.
won money the last time on that one.
Right?
I was going to ask, how many sacks do you think Hassan Riddick's going to have this year for us?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
We'll just do one right now for just now.
Yeah.
I say double digits. I think he's going to get at least 10.
Okay.
Okay.
like
I think he's good for. If you go back and even look at his stats, I think he's good for 10 sacks a year, and he still has it. And now he's going to be super pumped because he's home.
Right.
Look, he took less money to come play here. As soon as he got here, he was in the building. Like showing it, like on Snapchat.
Ready to work. Yep.
Ready to work, and he was putting the work in. That's why I wanted him, and he's just a beast to me.
10.5 for me. Just looking at the stats from this year's season and last year's season. So he put up 12 2 years ago. So 10.5 be good.
All right. Vic, what do you think?
I'm going to keep it modest because we all know Reddick played well in Carolina, but he had an issue in Arizona. They didn't use him well. And my thing is I have a fear with Gannon that he might not use him well. I know he has the intent of moving him around, but I'm just hoping that, it maximizes Reddick's physical abilities, that he could, get at the quarterback. But I'm going to stay modest. I'm going to say 8 sacks.
That still ain't bad.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I was thinking too, because I'm thinking that I still fully believe in his athletic ability, his ability to get to the quarterback, to be disruptive in the backfield. But is there going to be a learning curve? Is there going to be an adjustment period in the new defense? So I'm saying I think I'm with Vic. I think I'm saying right around 7.5, 8 sacks this year for Riddick.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve.
What about you, AK?
Yeah, question
you
maker.
really, you really want to know?
Yeah,
Inquire
I
not.
do.
All right, 16.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I like it. I like the conviction.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Damn.
how.
No, listen, man. I think Fletcher Cox, Brendan Graham, Hassan Ridgeway, or Hassan, or
Riddick.
what the hell am I talking about?
Riddick.
Riddick. Hargrave.
Hello, people
Hargrave.
doing that.
Well, I'm looking for
Oh, you're
Joey's
saying
name.
Hargrave.
I'm looking for Joey's name on here, and I'm not. I'm doing two things at one time.
Yeah.
And no, but Hargraves and dude, he's got weapons on this D line. If we add some here in the draft, man, he's going to have people that are going to be able to let him be free. And if that boy gets free and he gets one-on-ones, I'm pretty sure he's going to destroy a lot of teams. I really do.
He's going to have 16. How many of those are going to be against? How many of those are going to be on Carson Wentz?
8.
Half of them.
Yeah.
Really, one game.
No, he's gonna have 4 each game. He's going to straight up demolish Carson Wentz. I promise.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones game.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is going to get to that point where he's just Brett Favre in it. He's just going down, just like laying out for the sacks.
Bro, Riddick's gonna make him get to the point where he's gonna be like, I ain't going back out there.
Go ahead, more than Macau Parsons, bro.
It's gonna be like the kid on Blindside after Big Mike's done kicking his ass. The racist white kid. Like he's calling for the bench to come in. He's like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yo, and not just that, man, but you gotta think too, this kid is playing for his hometown.
Yeah.
This is something he has grown up, he's wanted his whole life. Like, this is his dream. You don't think for one second this kid ain't going to come out here and demolish people and play harder than he ever had for any other team he's played for? Hell yeah, man. This kid is going to come out with a fire lit under his ass, and I can't wait to see it.
I mean, we saw it with Vinny Curry, and Riddick is. I think he's more. I think he's more athletically gifted than Vinny Curry.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. The chat is live. We see y'all. We see you guys. Thank you for appreciating it coming through. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on all the channels. We are live on all 3 channels.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Salute to the 17 in the chat right now. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome our special guest,
Absolutely.
Philly Halftime. Make sure y'all do sub to them. Great Eagle
Yes.
content creator, active. He's been in the chats. He's coming out in all these videos, man. Make sure y'all show him some love.
Big facts. Big facts.
Hey, at least someone's almost with me.
That's what
I
I'm
got
saying.
a question for you guys. Is BG? How do you think BG is going to be this year? As is he going to
That's a
be
good
totally
question.
healthy, 100%, or is he? How do you think he's going to be?
I mean,
coming off that injury, because
I
it's a
mean,
pretty
with the-
bad injury for how old he is.
we
True.
got a solid rotation, honestly, right now in the D line. Even if we draft more people, we still got a solid. I mean, he's gonna be there, bro. That president's gonna be there. He might come back with more fire, but the injury, man, that's kind of a risky injury to come back from.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's I think he's going to come back pretty strong. I mean, I'm with his age, with just how longer. I mean, obviously the season's an extra game longer now. So will he play the full season? More than likely not. But I hope that he's able to be around when we need him. For the important division games, for possibly a playoff run. We'll see. I think he's definitely going to be a great. He's definitely going to be a great mentor, a great teacher on the field for some of these younger guys like Milton Williams, like Teron Jackson. Some of these. Patrick Johnson, even some of these younger guys who can play defensive end and have the ability to, to play on the outside. Then I think he's going to be, definitely he's still going to be a force too. When he's out there on the field, I think he's still going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he had anywhere from 5 to 7 sacks this year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah, I think you're going to see a rejuvenated BG. He's been away from the game too long. and that rehab, I think he's going to come back in great shape. Hopefully, he comes back healthy. There are no setbacks. But we'll find out on OTAs if he's there, and we'll see where his progress is. But I think he's gonna come back hungrier than ever this year.
Yeah, I agree, man. Not to shy away from Milton Williams, but I got him, man, getting a couple sacks as well too. He's gonna be a stud this season. Mark my word. I'm saying that right now, April 13th at 11:02 p.m. in the Eastern Time. He's gonna be a stud.
And the energy that he brings to the defense, that's going to be something that we sorely missed. Because when BG gets out there, his mouth is running the whole damn time.
I
Yeah,
just
man.
think he's going to lose a step or two. I think he's going to get like maybe tops, like maybe 4 sacks. But like Vic said, he's got a mouth. He's going to freaking put the guys in the right position. But I don't see him. I see him losing a step or two. His age and that injury is pretty bad injury
Yeah,
for his age.
yeah. So I was, not to contradict. I would say he'll play not up to par in the beginning of the season, but coming during the mid season or whatever, going to the post, like probably see him play better because he got to get his footing in. You know what I mean? He's got to get his feet wet. Oh my God, Richie tried J Joy at defensive end.
Nah, Jay Jaw's going to be tried at the unemployment line this year. That's where he's going to be.
Hey, I'd be happy if he goes to the practice squad, man.
That might be the move.
But he is one of the Eagles' best blockers we got in the offense, though. I think they just keep just special teams, man. It's just a special teams gem. You know how Eagles got them set of guys like why is he on the roster? What's his purpose in the roster? Special teams. That's what it is. And then it's just they make it people tend to forget special teams is a team. But they make plays or whatever, but they just look at him as a blocker.
Yeah. Especially, I'm not pretty sure, but is he used as a gunner? Is that where his specialty lies?
Yeah, because he's
You know what I mean? Like
he's
that's
outside,
the first guy that gotta get in contact. So he got the speed, even when he's physical. Maybe that's the thing that they're looking at him for.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to get out of him because he's like his speed and he's supposed to be like a gunner, but
Yeah, no, sorry. I was sending Joey the link. It's on your Twitter, bud. But no, for Brendan Graham, for me, listen, I've actually tore my Achilles heel before. I know how it feels. I have no issues. Still to this day, I don't even recall ever tearing it. I mean, I do because I remember doing it, but I mean, it doesn't. When you run, there's no effect. I've never had any limitations. It doesn't feel weird running now than it did before I did it, So I get it. He's older, but their doctors are I mean, they have things that we don't even have in the medical field yet, They're very well taken care of. I'm sure it'll heal just fine. He'll still be his fiery self, so.
Let me ask you a question, AK, because we're talking about that injury. The first time, like I'm assuming you went back and did your thing when you first had to like put weight on it and actually use it normally, start running. Was that on the back of your mind, like just that initial thought of when the injury happened, like like you feel that muscle ripping, like that's excruciating pain. Did you have that thought when you first pushed off?
Yeah, listen, man. You know how you had to do those phys ed classes in gym class, where you had to do the pull-ups and how many pull-ups you could do. Well, I believe it or not, I was once a short shit, and I had to use the mats to crawl up to, do the pull-ups. And I let go, and when I did, the front part of my foot caught, which sent my foot straight up, and it actually tore my Achilles tendon. And I remember that pain, and I never want that pain ever again, because that was probably the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Instant tears, man. I was in 7th grade. I remember it still. The pain was just, your whole leg goes numb. It really does. It just, oh, it took about 3 months. I was on crutches, and after 3 months, they finally let me get out of my walking boot and stuff. And yeah, it does mess with your mind a little bit when you first get off, because it's like, well, am I going to be able to do the things I was able to do the first time, and is it going to feel weird when you try to stop, when you try to take off, because that's the main thing you worry about, because that's where all your power and your pressure comes from, in your ankles. And yeah, but all in all, after a while, man, it all works out, and it got back better and stronger, and you build your confidence back. That's all it's about,
Yeah. And we've seen on the Eagles, we've seen older players go through Achilles injuries. Jason
Yeah.
Peters had an Achilles injury, had it repaired while going through training during the offseason, ripped it again, and still played within that season. No, matter of fact, no, I think he missed that whole season, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
It was a double tear, so he ended up missing that season. Yeah.
We drafted a corner that tore his Achilles, and
Sidney Jones. Yeah.
Sidney Jones, and he couldn't do nothing with the Eagles. And then he goes to Jacksonville, and he started doing better. But I'm like, I don't know if it's us or if it's if it's the person. Maybe it took him a little bit to get used to. Maybe he was more scared or to put that pressure on it.
Mhm.
It could have very well been the fact that he was a second round. The pressure of being a second round, so much is put onto him to be that next good corner, and it didn't happen. It didn't come to fruition. He probably had some better playing, better situation in Jacksonville. That's why he played better. But when you look at Sidney Jones now, who I think is on the Panthers squad, he's not really doing that good.
Oh, he's on the Panthers now?
Yo, what's up,
Yeah,
Scoob?
pretty sure he's on the Panthers. Or if not the Panthers, I think maybe even Seattle.
Not who?
One of the Sidney Jones. I think he's in Seattle. Matter of fact, I think he's back in Washington.
Yeah.
I have to keep my eye on him.
Yeah.
Somebody was in Seattle. It was either him or Darby. One or the other.
He's in Denver, or was. I don't know.
No, he's I think he's Washington, man.
Yeah, Darby's in Washington.
Now he's in Washington again?
Yeah, think so.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me get this a look real quick. Hold on.
It's so hard to keep track of these people.
Yeah, because I swore he was in Denver.
That should show you how bad it is. Can't even keep track of.
Yeah, he's in Denver. Donald Darby's a Denver Bronco.
And
Oh.
Sidney Jones is, let me see, I'll tell you right now.
He was formerly
He was.
Washington Redskins, but yeah, he was a Denver Bronco.
He was in
Jones,
He was opposite of Surtain, if I'm not mistaken.
Seattle Seahawks.
Jones is in Seattle, right? Yeah. And I think he's a backup there, so he's a rotational cornerback.
And I worry about those Achilles ones.
It's
now the
serious.
Eagles are about to go get another one.
I think for Ojabo, I think you have to have a cap. If it's something where he falls possibly third, fourth, then by all means make the move. It's a 4th round pick. You can make
I
a
said
list
you
with that.
don't, Joey.
But I don't want to try to risk that. Some people are saying a first or a second. Stay clear from that. If the kid falls third, fourth, then yeah, by all means, I'd make a move for it, but not for a first or second.
Yeah, for a third or fourth, like I said, that I think they should go for him. I'm like a second, I wouldn't go for him,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not saying the Eagles are going I think the Eagles are still going to go for a second on him because
The one issue with Howie is he goes for what he considers his value than just what the talent is in front of him.
yep,
And sometimes I think that's him overthinking. But hopefully, as they've been saying, the coaching staff is going to have more say in the draft, and hopefully they get on the right picks. And they have. My thing is that they have a consensus pick, that they're all in unison. It isn't something where there's a disagreement on one side of the room while the other side is happy. I want everyone to be in unison and consensus with the picks that they're making.
I mean that's what Jeffrey Lurie said. If you believe in him,
I'm sorry, man. I just I know some people are saying that they would take a Jabo in the second, but that is just still too soon for me. I gotta go in the third. Like I understand. Hey, if somebody takes him on the back end of the second, hey, it just wasn't meant to be. Sorry. Hey, maybe we can figure out how to get him 3 years later. Like we did. Riddick here, but it's one of those things. Though I just can't. I can't afford to take that risk again. I would rather use second for like Bell or Pickens or Watson or somebody of that nature than just go for a Jabo. I mean, because he's going to probably sit a whole year, and then you won't know exactly what you have until next year anyway. So yeah, that doesn't help me right now, does it?
Nope. Nope. But I think that's what they're going to do.
I hope not.
Scary thought, but I don't trust Harry Roseman. I can say it to him blue in the face. If you get one,
Hey, you have good reason. You have good reason to doubt
listen,
him.
he's good in. It don't make sense. He's good in doing trades. He's good in free agency. He's just terrible, And which one? Okay, he picked a couple of good guards. He picked up a center, but now he's using him as a guard because we still have Kelsey. And, okay, you can pick up some good linemen, but you can't go pick up wide receivers. You can't pick up a linebacker to save your butt. And it's like, why?
Yeah. I will say this. I think the drafting philosophy that we have has to be updated. I still believe in you still have to build in through your lines. But there
Yeah.
was something that we took from Andy Reid era, and that was that you devalue the linebacker. And I think that line of thinking has to be changed. You have to value your linebackers. That eases so much up for your cornerbacks. It takes so much pressure off your line.
Yeah,
You
but
have to value every position that you have, because if you devalue one, you're going to be in the problem that we're in. We're constantly every year trying to get that next guy or trying to get a guy to fill a position. You need
I
to
I know, but what did 2017 prove to you? 2017 proved to you that you can win a Super Bowl with above average linebackers. You
yep.
don't truly need a superstar linebacker to win a Super Bowl. And Howie took that shit and he ran with it. And now he truly thinks, well, I can get away with a TJ Edwards. I can get away with, and Hassan Reddick, and a White. If they can at least be above average linebackers and do their job, that's just, I don't need to go out and get a Dean or a Lloyd. You know what I mean? And that's how he thinks.
Well, with respect to 2017, the reason why it worked out so well is because we had Nigel Bradham, who was already knew the system in and out. He was the guy showing others how to work in the system.
Right.
So that's why I think that worked so well, because Bradham knew everything about it. It wasn't something that
Yeah.
he was catching on. He wasn't one of our guys. He was a Buffalo Bill that we ended up getting because he was one of Jim Schwartz's guy.
But he was an above average linebacker, correct?
I wouldn't say above average. I would say he was average. Like I said, it was the fact that he knew the system so
Okay.
well that helped him out immensely.
Okay. Well, even still, above average still alone is my whole point is we did it without a Bobby Wagner or without a Warner or any of these guys, man.
We don't
So-
need the big name talent. We just need to grow the talent ourselves. Put the time in.
Right.
Draft these guys. You got Devin Lloyd out there. You got Njaba. We know the kind of players they are. Put some trust behind them and call them, make the pick. That's all.
But you got to be able. Those boys got to step up, and somebody has to get on that guy that is not stepping up.
Mhm.
I mean, you got to get in his face and trash the hell out of him. They're not doing it though. They're like, oh, it's gonna be all right. You can get it next time. No, get your head in the game. You know.
Man, you see what happened? They took out Davion Taylor when he balled that one game, and then he just had that. It took him out. They put T.J. Edwards in, and he was balling or whatever. Yeah, it's just the next man mentality.
That's the thing. That's what drives me crazy. It's the next man mentality, and that's what they do with the running backs. they got this swarm of 4 guys, and we can just put anybody in there, and they're gonna dominate. It doesn't work like that. You gotta, if you keep 2 guys in there and just mix up the speed and the tempo with them 2, then you could be off and running.
Are you talking about Miles and Jordan Howard?
Well, Jordan Howard ain't on our team, but they need another running back, and I don't know what they're going to do for another running back. You got Miles Sanders for 1 more year. So
We know the years, Papa. We know.
To me, the ice is running very, very thin under Miles Sanders because he, especially last year, underperformed. And on top of that, it seems like when he does start to take off a little bit, then he gets hurt. So it's really getting overly frustrating with Miles Sanders at times because, and then when he is on the field trying to produce, sometimes he's putting the ball on the field. So we can't have that.
Now, he only got 2 touchdowns last year, right?
I don't think he had any.
He had 0.
Yeah, he had none.
He had 0.
None.
None.
Yeah, that was the issue I was saying earlier. I have no issues with Miles and his running because he gets yards, he gets hits. The thing is, when we need him the most in the red zone, he disappears.
Exactly.
He can't get that tough yard, and that's why we keep on saying we need a tough, physical running back. And I agree with that. We do need that tough, but we need that. We need a, let's be honest, a 3 down back. And I know it's something cliche, now everyone says it, but we honestly need that. Miles isn't that guy right now. Hopefully, like he said, he's taking this season personally. He takes this off season personally, and he comes in and he delivers. I'm hoping that for him because I think he has the potential to do that. But I don't want to go into the season with the hopes of him doing that. I want to assure myself that if he can't do it, I have someone else in the background that can take care of that load. Whether that's a rookie running back, whether that's us trying to find someone, whatever the case may be. Right now, I would say we can't go into the season just with Miles Sanders.
Yo, what's good, Joey? Appreciate you hopping on, man.
Hey, anytime, bro. Just chilling tonight.
How you doing?
Good. I'm fixing my camera real quick, but I'm doing good.
Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I just feel terrible for you, man, because you're on what, day 32 or something like that, and it's got to just be so boring, man. Your lives that you do every day. This is breaking for you, and I feel bad because it's I know he wants to freak out over something, but nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's I've only had one thing. Well, actually, 2 things happened between Derek Barnett signing and then the trade, the Eagles Saints trade. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's been tough to, everyone keeps me busy though. I mean, it's always good to talk draft and all that stuff, so it's a good thing.
They had a Kaiser White in there too, right?
Oh yeah, Kaiser White too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mayhew? Do you think that it is a possibility, or it is going to be something that will be a reality that he signs with the Eagles, or it's just another team out there that he's trying to use to leverage?
Who, Matthew?
Yeah.
Oh, I think part of it is leverage. I think part of it is they want to get the Saints price. I mean, they want to get his money up. I don't think Matthew's going to wait after the draft because he's going to get less money after the draft. I think he's trying to get his money now, and the Rams are in there now. So I mean, how many more? They're after Gilmore as well. So I don't know how much more people are they going to sign. But the Eagles are still in it. It's been quiet, so I feel like there is a chance at some way. There is a chance, but. We can easily lose this, so I'm not sure, but I'm not going to put too much energy into it because I think there's, a lot of safeties in this draft, especially going to early in the second round. There's a lot that I would draft instantly. So, definitely.
Do you think the interest in him would fade because of him taking so long? Like you said, the Rams are interested. We know of the Saints. The Eagles are a player, but do you think after a while, and we all know because of the draft, but before then? Do you think from him taking too long, it may lose interest beforehand? Like, say Monday, everyone's just like, you know what, we're off Matthews. We're focusing on the draft.
It depends. Sometimes the longer we wait, it's a good or a bad thing. I don't know how it's going to happen. Either it's going to take too long to the point where, he can't get the number because we heard whatever Kansas City gave Justin Reed, he was he was fine with getting that money and he would have took $10 million. He would have took $10 million for the year if that was the case. So, I don't know. It's either the waiting game's a good thing or it's a bad thing where he's gonna, want more money, or the longer it takes, he's gonna be, he's gonna have to settle for a certain number. And that's pretty much it. So we don't know what the numbers are yet, but we'll see though.
Yeah. What about your thoughts on the draft? Where do you figure that will go?
Originally, I wanted to draft defense in the first round, and that's what I kind of still want, because even if they get Tyrann Mathieu, even without Tyrann Mathieu, I still want to go defense with the first 2 picks. I want to at least go. I want one of those Georgia defensive tackles, one of them. I'm going to keep harping this every single day until it doesn't happen. So draft night, I'm going to say I'm going to guarantee 300% that one of those Georgia defensive tackles will be a Philadelphia Eagle, but. Then I see what the Eagles did in free agency, and I see they really did nothing with this offense. Devin Allen hasn't played since 2016. They grabbed, Zach Pascal, he's a number 3 to number 4 receiver as of right now. I mean, he's going to help. It definitely will help because he can play outside, inside. He's a big body, and he's played well under Nick Sirianni. So I just think, and I don't put too much on Howie because he kind of knew how the wide receiver market was going to be. We put $13 million down for Christian Kirk, and he took 17. So I think he stinted the market. Calvin Ridley would already be a Philadelphia Eagle right now, and that didn't, work out. So I think he went ahead of time to go for a trade, rumored to be a 3rd-round pick to the Falcons for Calvin Ridley before he got in trouble. So I wouldn't put it past them if they go wide receiver in the first round. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. Let me just ask this also. With the signing of Steven Nelson to the Texans, how do you think that changes our draft board? Where do you think we're going with first? Because, initially we thought maybe defensive lineman, edge. Now we may be focusing on corner. So where do you think we'll end up?
It's about damn time. That's all I got to say. Nelson signing with the Texans was like, well, I made a video this morning on it, and it was like, oh, he visited the Texans. All of a sudden, he was signed. And he didn't get signed last year until I think after the draft. So, he got 2 years, $10 million. So he didn't really get much more money than we paid him. I think we paid him $4 for the year. I mean, it wasn't much. So he got paid an extra million, whatever the case may be. But I don't see the Eagles on Gilmore anymore. I think they're out on Gilmore now, and Steven Nelson signed with the Texans. So, I mean, at this point, I think Nelson and his agent probably there had to been some type of communication with Slay or something to say, hey, or did they have interest? What's going on? So the Eagles look like they're moving on. They brought Booth in for a visit. They brought Sauce in for a visit. So, I mean, is this going to be the year for a number 2 corner that could, potentially be the number 1? But just think of it like this: you bring a corner in this room, whether it's Sauce Stingley or something like that. The mentorship you're getting with Big Play Slay in the building already, man, that's going to be really good for the next couple of years. It's going to be really good. I hope they do it.
If you had to rank the corners, who would you have as your top corner?
My top right now is Sauce, just because of consistency and obviously not giving up a touchdown last year and being a long corner. And look, originally before the combine, I thought his backtrack speed was really bad. I thought he didn't have enough speed. I thought he ran because I know he ran his 40 time. He ran like a 4.6 at one point. I didn't think he was quick enough, but after seeing his combine, I was like, okay, then I guess I was wrong. Stingley is my number 2 because I have a good feeling that he is going to show up this year. Even it hasn't really produced much since his freshman year in college, and was promised to be something special. And that pro day was you couldn't really ignore it too much. So the Stingley pick is a what if pick. I don't know if he's going top 10. He could fall out. I mean, who knows at this point? I like Andrew Booth just because he's a really good balance between outside, inside. He could play, especially with the scheme that we do with the hybrid scheme. He could play in zone coverage, physical, in-your-face corner, which I really do like. Khair Alam is probably one of my favorites. I think one of the most underrated corners in this draft. Pretty much can go late first round, but he grabs a little too much jersey. He's very physical, but I kind of want to see how he transcends into the NFL. So. I think there's, McDuffie's probably the last on my list because I don't think he's even a first-round pick, in my opinion, because he's an inside guy. He's pretty much Avonte Max's, just his size, and, he's the opposite guy, the guy opposite of McDuffie on the outside, Gordon. I forgot his first name. He's a man-to-man corner, but you're drafting – you're drafting a corner in the first round for man-to-man coverage. And when we say shutdown corner, shutdown corners are a dime a dozen, man. Like, you don't see shutdown corners too much. So, I mean, would I say Sauce is more consistent? Sure. I think he's the most consistent corner in this draft. But we'll wait and see, and we'll just find out. You know what I mean? But if they trust me, if they draft a corner this year, I'll be very emotional because they haven't done this in years, and I want it to happen. So,
Well, you mentioned speed before, and we all know now the 40-time Kyle Hamilton. We all have heard a discussion that there's a possibility that he may drop. What is your limit? If Kyle Hamilton is to fall, at what position is he someone worth for you to go up and get, or are you staying put to see if he falls to you?
I would wait to see if he falls at this point. Like, everyone's different. Like, because I don't know. We don't value corner. We value corner. We don't value safety. We do value safety. I mean, it's up and down every single year. But from what Kyle Hamilton has shown, and I think he's going to be a stud. I really do. The 40 time is BS with a lot of positions. It's very overrated. Like, if for wide receivers or certain positions, see how they move in a straight line. It's great, but at an instance, you just have to take it to precaution. Like, you're getting a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", over 220 pounds, a guy that's just a playmaker and, can move all around the field too. I mean, there's a lot of safeties in this draft I really like. So if he moves out of the top 10, I think you got to go up and grab him. I think you got to get it done. But we'll see.
Definitely.
To move up, it's going to cost us it's going to cost us a first this year and next year probably, right? To move up, I would think.
You could probably go in the second.
I think
Second from last year.
To be honest with you, because more teams are wanting to trade back than really trade up at this point. Because number one, there's no strong market for quarterback this year. I mean,
Right.
A lot of teams are going to be reaching for certain positions. So I mean, even if you take the 18th pick, like, to get Sauce, it's going to be tough. It's not. The 4th and 5th, the Jets and Giants at 4 and 5 is really making me nervous because I know the Giants need defensive end, they need cornerback, they can get Kayvon, they can get Sauce. I mean, there's, the Jets and Giants kind of worry me a little bit. I mean, the Giants, I don't know if they have 2 first-round picks next year, but they should trade back one of those picks with the quarterback that they have right now because I think that probably better. I'm not just saying that as a biased Eagles fan. I'm saying that because in their best interest, they better make sure they have enough draft capital next year because Daniel Jones ain't working out after this year. So if you're moving up, like, say you lose Sauce to the Giants at 5, like, moving up to 6 is not going to be enough. Carolina's pick. If you want Stingley, you have to watch out for. I think the Vikings at 12 because Gladney's gone. He got with the battery charges. He's gone, and then they signed Patrick Peterson, so they need a cornerback. I wouldn't really worry about the Ravens too much. I think they're going after linebacker just because they're trying to go after Von Miller and Bobby Wagner. So I think they have a lot of interest in linebacker at this point. So I think the Kobe Dean or Devin Lloyd will be off the board, and so. Like I said, even talk about the linebackers, like Kaiser White being here, I don't think they even draft a linebacker in the first 2 rounds. That's just me. I think they totally made that move, and that was it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. I think Stingley and Booth are going to be more reasonable. But if Howie Roseman figures out a way to trade up with Houston or something at this point with number 3 overall, whatever it is, I mean, look, at the end of the day, what you have to give up to get in, it just depends. If it's 3rd overall, they might want a little bit more. You could maybe put in a 2nd-round pick in there. But if you're going up to 6, I'd say you trade the 18th. You trade one of your 3 5th-round picks. You trade one of your 3rd-rounders you got from the Eagles-Saints trade. So the Eagles got 2 3rd-round picks in this draft. That's why I like this trade. That's why I like the Eagles-Saints trade because we got the extra 3rd and 7th this year. The 7th, not too much valuable, but the 3rd is definitely more ammo to put into a trade-up. Compensation. So
Can I throw something out there without being hated by the whole entire chat? Because I'm just gonna put it out there, man. I don't know why, but I have a strong feeling, man. And Joey, you know where I'm going with this because we talked about it the other night. I really think if you're going to move up like that, it's going to be a first in Fletcher Cox to Houston for number 3. Especially if at 15 you're going to take Wyatt or Davis.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes sense for that to happen. I mean, I understand you're taking a $12 million cap hit, but I believe that's also why they restructured or released him and brought him back because teams wanted him for a second, but they didn't want to take a $40 million cap hit for him. So what they do, they took the dead money, they released him, brought him back for 14, and it's more reasonable to trade that as a value than what it was before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, you never know. I mean,
No, Richie, not Pickett. No,
you could be. I mean, you could be trade bait, but to me, I never really thought of it that way. I think Fletcher's playing this year because if you lose Fletch, then you really have to draft a defensive tackle in the first round, and then you really have to get. You got two. Fletcher's a free agent. You got Javon Hargrave. That's a big re-sign candidate that could be extended for save. You could save $13 million if you extend him. So I think we'll get that extension this year sometime. Hopefully, I mean, I don't think if they're losing two at one position, I doubt that's happening. So, and Hargrave had 8-9 sacks last year before he was double teamed the rest of the year, and that did nothing. So it could be. I mean, who knows? Howie's crazy, so you never know.
well, and that's why I said if you're dead set at 15, knowing you're getting a DT, like if you want to move up to 3 to grab your corner, and you're dead set on DT, whether it's Wyatt or Davis, you can't afford to keep them all. You know what I'm saying? So it's only logical to dump the one that makes the least amount of sense, which would be Cox.
And if we did that, I wouldn't put it past Howie to not even draft a defensive tackle high in the draft, because we know how he is a stickler with his previous draft picks and wanting them to get starting time. So if he can find a way to get Milton Williams into the starting lineup, I think he's going to try to do that.
Yeah,
Just
it's
to
like
see if
what
Fletch in the first wouldn't work because you would need more capital.
No, you wouldn't.
Nah, I think you would. I don't think it would be Fletch in the first. I don't think it would work.
If teams are willing to give up a second round for Fletch, then that's what his worth is. So a first round and a second round for the third overall pick, and you're getting 18 or 18 in return for that, especially if they want to move back. That's a steal, especially for Houston. That solidifies Houston's interior defensive line.
But
that's
you have to sign him though.
Right, that's the problem is they tried trading a second round pick for him, and no teams were buying because he was going to cost $14 million to get him on your roster. So, no teams were buying at a second round pick, which I don't blame them. Look, if I'm taking a $40 million dead cap hit right now, I'm getting a pick for it. Not like how the Falcons traded Matt Ryan for absolutely nothing. They for a third round pick for a $40 million cap hit, and it made no sense. Like you gotta do what's better for the team than what it is for the player. You know what I mean? So I think they didn't get what they wanted, so they had to redo his deal and bring him back. I don't know. He could be bait. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I think to move up top 3, you might have to give up just a little bit more.
Well, you can add a third in there if you want on top of the deal.
Yeah.
Or you could throw Dillard in there. Or
yeah, you can throw Dillard in. Yeah, why not?
Let me ask you a question because you're talking about top 3. Earlier in the season, the consensus overall was Kayvon Thibodeau. Then it changed over to Aiden Hutchinson. And now there's talk about Travon Walker possibly being the first pick of the draft.
I know, right?
if you had your opinion, how would you make sense? Where would you rank these guys? Because for me, I think Thibodeau is far above both of them. Kayvon had a great season. Hutchinson, for me, disappeared in that bowl game. But, they're experts. They know more than me. But let me get your thoughts on that.
It's just tough for me because, I mean, look, like Walker's just like a freak athlete. He's a freakish athlete. I mean, his pro day was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Aiden Hutchinson didn't really flash too much to me. I think he's going to be good, but he's still going to be, I think, a top player. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I really don't. It's really tough for me to say even with two different positions. Kayvon Thibodeau, like I said, the conference, because of the conference he's in, it's always maybe nervous of, it's a weak conference. So how good is he if he plays against better talent? I don't know, man. I would like that. That's why having the first, second pick of the draft is tough because people start to second guess players and they start to move from one player to the next because, so we'll find out. But Walker is weird to me because he only had 6 sacks with Georgia, but I could probably say that, Jermaine Johnson's probably better at this point. I mean, who knows? I mean, Jermaine Johnson could be better. He was a Georgia transfer. He went to Florida State and just totally wrecked it. You know what I mean? So it's Travon Walker. I had him, I think, at the beginning, after the combine, I had him like at least between 8 to 12, something like that. And that's before Ojabo got hurt. I had actually Walker moved in front of Ojabo at the time. And then Ojabo got hurt. And now everyone, I think, is going to move up just a little bit more. But Walker, yeah, it's – I don't know. I really don't know. I couldn't even tell you. It's really
now. To be fair, though, that deal I threw at you, I actually had that betrayed at 10 or 11 to the Seahawks or the Jets. A first and Fletch to one of those. I just threw it there because we were talking about the third pick, and I thought that'd be interesting. But what would you think about that to maybe like 10 or 11? Especially if like Sauce would fall that far, because Cox would solidify. He would give somebody for the Seahawks to build around. They'd still get 18 and possibly get a quarterback to help them, or whatever they choose to do.
Yeah, if it's like from 8 to 10, sure, but going like real early is going to be tough. Like you have to. It depends, like if they're going to take on a contract like Fletcher Cox on top of it, so you got to look at that too. If they're in need of that, or think it's like a dump off, or it could be some type of look. We'll make this deal happen, but we kind of want to dump off a player because we have some plans for the draft. So it really depends. Like I think Seattle's definitely a trade up option. It looks like they might go quarterback. Like I said, Carolina. I mean, at this point, if the Falcons even, they could. I think they're gonna. I don't know if they're drafting quarterback. I know they got Marcus Mariota, but he's short term anyway, as of right now. So there's a lot of trade up candidates. There really is. If you could try to get in front of the Vikings or try to get in front of the Vikings at 12, I think Washington's at 11. So I don't think you're gonna make a deal with them unless they can. I don't know. But you have the picks to do it, and you got to think of it like this: like you got picks next year, you got picks for 2024. They got a lot of picks now. There's a lot of draft compensation they could throw in there if they really want to.
I don't think the Eagles are going to trade up. I think they're going to trade the 18th pick. I think they're going to trade back, and I think they're going to try to go for
capital.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to get a number 2, so they can say to the fans, like, look. We got 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and I have them trading with Pittsburgh on 18 to try to get their number 2, and then that's who they're going to get. They're going to get that center, friggin', and I think they're going to go get Booth and the center Linderbaum, yeah. And I think that's what they're going to do.
There's going to be hungry teams that move up in this draft, especially like KC, like teams that need like receivers badly. Like KC want to get Pickens, or they want to go get Jameson Williams or something like that. You could take advantage of that. The further that they're back in this draft, they're trading up, pretty, a good amount of picks. You got to get another second round pick this year. I don't care what it takes. They have to get a second round pick, even at 51 right now. I think they're going to miss out on a lot of players sitting at 51. So we'll see. You know what I mean? But depends what they're going after. But
I think those 555s are going to come into play somehow.
Oh yeah.
Do you think if they go to Pittsburgh that they would have to give up the 7th to get the 2nd, or would Pittsburgh just go with giving the Eagles a second round pick to move up? Is the question. I don't know if you had to give up more to get to the 2nd. Like the 7th round pick to get to the 2nd is my thing.
They're going to have to give up more than just a second round pick. Like they'll probably have to give up maybe like a 3rd or 4th in there.
I think you guys brought up you're speaking of the Chiefs a little bit of the receiving core. I think you're going to see Patrick Holmes come down to earth a little bit, because he's not going to have that guy to take the top off the defense. You're going to see a lot of defenses playing a lot closer to the line than they were before, because who do they got at receiver? They got Juju, and they got Valdez Scantling, and they still got Hardman, but they don't have that they don't really have that true number 1 receiver now, in my opinion. I don't think Juju's ever been that.
Their quarterback is awful good.
He is. Well, we're gonna see. He's gonna be. This is a year we're gonna see how good he really is, because he's gonna be tested. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask everyone in the chat. Excuse me, not in the chat. Excuse me, everyone here. But last night, the Eagles had a dinner date with Matt Corral. Do you think that was just them doing their homework, or is this something that, like we talked about it before the show, something that maybe if he falls down to the third, fourth, the Eagles take that chance, draft the kid as a backup, probably someone to move on from and trade? What are your thoughts on Matt Corral visiting Philadelphia last night?
Nah.
Third or
Listen.
fourth round, totally fine with. Like first and second, stay away. That's all. Look, they can do that. They can draft Carson Strong in the third round. I don't care what it is, but they just stay away from the first and second round. I don't look if they want to trade. If they're, we don't know. There could be a lot of interest from Minshew right now because number one, I think he's above average backup quarterback that could win you football games. I think he can win you football games. I'm not saying he's franchise or anything like that, but secondly, he's only 900,000, a little over that for the year. He's dirt cheap. Yeah. So he's going to be a hot commodity, I think, when it comes to trade. I think he will.
And I understand that point right there, Joey. But in all honesty, you traded away a first this year, next year, just in case. Insurance policy for if Jalen Hurts is not the guy. Therefore, you did that knowing that you don't take a quarterback at all in this draft. You already set the way you're going to go. Everybody knows it. So you just taking a quarterback in this draft, one, even in the third or fourth, that is a valuable pick that we can use to continue building this team, first off. And secondly, he's not going to play. So you just wasted that pick. And third, you're getting a guy next year, so he's not going to play anyway. So no, you just eliminated grabbing a quarterback in this draft by doing that. At least in my eyes. Don't matter how.
I hate to have to go on this side of the fight, but what if they feel that maybe Corral is that guy that they wouldn't have to worry about next year? We all seen that, they were looking at him earlier. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just saying, what if?
Then I want the drugs that they have.
Imagine if imagine if we actually got tricked that these picks next year were not for a quarterback, that this whole thing is just an illusion to say we got picks for next year just to have picks, but they want us to think it's for a quarterback, but it's not. Maybe they do believe in Jalen Hurts more than we know.
What if that's just used to pick possibly someone that's coming up in free agency? We can use the first, or make a trade somehow.
Get Deebo Samuel in the building.
There you go.
Yeah. You would. If they really truly believed in Jalen Hurts, they would put weapons around him.
Mm-hmm. They tried.
I mean, listen, you can give us something try, but try.
Yeah, Joey, I know. He's a cheap. He's very freaking cheap. There's trying and then there's not trying. I get it, man.
All I wanted was them to put a veteran receiver on this team because this offense is too young, bro. It's too young. Like
I agree.
They need someone to be in front to lead. They need Zach Pascal. Come on.
Listen, man. Listen, I understand. I would have rather gone out and paid $30 million to Devontae Adams. And listen, here's the thing. I get the risk and I get the reward of it. But I promise you're going to get the reward. It does not matter. But the whole point is sometimes you just got to jump. You know what I'm saying? And we never jump. And I don't understand why. Like, Howie, just you about made me say that word.
If we would have jumped D-Hop, we wouldn't even have this.
You are not promised to get a wide receiver like Jamar Chase out of this draft that's going to explode the first game. You're like, look, we might see that there's a lot of good wide receivers, but depending on Shane Steichen, play design, route combinations, and Jalen Hurts, we don't know what we're going to get out of these receivers. They could add another weapon, and we still don't produce. I mean, who knows? Yeah. Like, you're not going to get that Jamar Chase type guy. It's just going to go into the first game and just explode on everybody, and we're all set and ready to go, and we're on our way. Yeah, it's not promised.
And that's why I said sometimes we just got to jump, man. And Howie never takes that jump. And I don't understand why. He's cheap as hell. Like, dude, you know what? I don't care. Adams is proven. He's proven it. You know, I will take that over any guy in this draft. I promise you that. If you would have went out and signed it, you never would have heard a word out of me. I would have not bitched at all. I would have been like, Howie, you got some balls on you, man. I love it. Let's go now. But instead you're being cheap. You don't want to pay, and it's like it's very frustrating because who knows if you would have taken that leap where this team would have been.
Yeah, but I understand. But the problem is, we're not even paying a quarterback right now. And I understand like this is a whole tryout year for Jalen Hurts to see what he could do into his third year. But technically, he's only played a year and a half of football in 3 years, which is kind of going to his third year. So it's kind of crazy. But I didn't see the Eagles going and paying 30+ for a receiver. I did not see that happening whatsoever. So that's the least. Devontae Adams, did we talk about him? Sure, but was it realistic? Definitely not. I saw. That's why I thought Howie was smart in the beginning before this free agency kicked off and said, let me try to trade for Calvin Ridley. Let me try to give up a third-round pick for a guy that was supposed to be the number one after Julio Jones left in Atlanta, which he did not work out. Calvin Ridley would be a really good compliment to Devontae Smith as a number 2. And I was harping on that trade all offseason constantly. So at this point, I thought Howie was smart at that point, but I think he passed up on too many receivers. Like DJ Chark went to the Lions for 1 year for $10 million. I'm like, why didn't they get him? And what fans don't realize, like when they trade for a receiver, they have to look at how much the receiver is for that year, because that's part of it. Like Robert Woods, 6th-round pick, great trade, but he costed like $14 million for the year, 30 years old and coming off an ACL. So I understood that. You know what I mean? Like, like Juju Smith-Schuster, like, is he a number 2? He'd be an okay number 2, but, they brought him to KC. They paid him a nice contract that Howie was just not going to put too much into it. I don't know. I felt like he kind of ran out of gas. He passed up on a lot of receivers, and, we just weren't. I think part of it is we hit a certain number that we're gonna pay like $13 million a year for a receiver. Secondly, I think part of it is this is a run-first offense. I don't think this team was too attractive in free agency. I'm not going to put it all on Jalen Hurts, but I'm just saying it wasn't attractive. There's too many new pieces in this offense right now. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these receivers out there, they saw our offense last year. They saw when it worked well, like Joey just said, we were a run-first offense. So, I mean, are they going to really want to come here? Because they're not going to get the amount of targets that they probably want. They're not going to get the stats that they want to put up in order for them to
look, I've said some crazy crap about Jalen Hurts all year, and like I'm on, like, and once the season starts, I'm on his side. I'm going to root for him all year, but the running game only works because Jalen Hurts makes it work. Like with Jalen Hurts on the field, he makes that running game work. It's not just you can put any quarterback in there, because even when Minshew was playing that Jets game, they ran the ball, but it wasn't as successful because they're not respecting Minshew on that read option. It's just not going to happen. So Hurts, they have to respect it, and they have to respect him, and if it's going to happen. So he's a big part of that run game and how they makes the run work. So that's what it is.
And this is another way I look at that situation as well, man, is, not only do you not bringing in a wide receiver hurt and affect Jalen Hurts, but, you don't give this kid a fair shot and he fails. So you go out next year and you bring in like CJ Stroud or Young. Well, then you're bringing Young right into the same situation Jalen Hurts just got himself out of. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to sit here and you're going to expect Young to do the same thing or Stroud to do the same thing with the same group of men that are here. I'd rather have those people here now learn under a year, whether it with Hurts and forward or with Hurts just this year, but at least they'll have the system memorized. So next year when the rookie comes in, they can help him out and they can pick up and go. But right now it's like, well, you're just going to completely shred the next guy that comes in with this wide receiver core that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Hurts was drafted in a crappy situation, period. I think it's a really bad situation because you bring in a rookie head coach, you bring in a brand new an offensive coordinator, it's just, you have a rookie QB. I mean, there's just way too many. There's too many pieces. I mean, like
an inexperienced quarterback coach at the NFL level too. Ryan Johnson, he's never been a quarterback coach in the NFL, so that's a whole nother thing in itself. But I mean,
let me ask you a question. We talked about how this team's a run first team, and we're talking about we need a veteran receiver. if we don't get a receiver that we want in the draft, what do you think about us possibly going after Keenan Allen? You know, he's someone who's familiar with the system. He's someone that's on the team that just got their other side just got paid on Mike Williams. I don't know if they could pay him, you know, for his contract. Is that something you think that could be a possibility?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have a chance of getting anybody here, to be honest. I think it's going to stay the way it is. I think we're just going to draft a guy and try to make this work. I mean, it's they've waited too long. I mean, it's too much time has passed. You can't trade for DK. It's going to cost more than a first round pick. If it was the rumors were true, the Jets gave up the 10th overall just for DK. They didn't take it. It's going to cost a lot, and especially all these receivers now, like AJ Brown and Debo. Some of these guys are like, hey, like look at all these receivers getting paid. Like I can't wait. I'm definitely going to be aggressive to try to get these contracts now. So. I don't know.
I think with the lack of free agency movement at the wide receiver, I mean, yeah, we did bring in Pascal, but like we said, that's not answering the questions that we want to be answered at the position. I think there's a good chance that we draft a receiver either in the first or second round. I think there's a very good chance.
They went the total opposite they went the total opposite. Besides Pascal and Devin Allen, like they went more defense in free agency. We thought it was going to be offense. We thought we were going to get a little bit of offense, pretty much mostly offense in free agency, and then go full draft defense. That's what we thought. I mean, they just went total 360. So
yeah.
I was against Jalen Hurts. Like I was like real bad on Jalen Hurts. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I called him Jalen Tebow because he would frustrate me so much. And I'm going to let you know. Joey, I commented on you in 500 about Jalen Tebow, and you guys were cracking up. But that's what he reminded me of. And there was people were like, well, he went to the playoffs being the starter for the first year, and he's like, you don't get rid of him. I'm like, Tim Tebow did it. He went to the playoffs the first year. He went to play the second year. He won a playoff game against Pittsburgh, and they canned him. I mean, yes, they got Peyton Manning, but and they won a Super Bowl. But I mean, I was hard on Jalen Hurts. But if you're going to keep him, you got to put something around him, and you got to help him with running. The running backs got to be better. I can't say that one enough. And you don't have wide receivers. You can't call Whiteside your friggin' enforcer.
It pisses me off inside. Like if they speak so highly of him and all this great stuff, like why the hell are you not like? Are you setting him up to fail? Are you just throwing in the towel for next season? Like, you know what I mean? If the kid is going to struggle, he's going to struggle. Like, I'm glad he's working with Tom House and Quincy Avery and some of these guys and Tom Brady. It's great. I mean, look, like I've never questioned Jalen Hurts' work ethic. I never questioned his mindset, his mentality. I think his mentality is off the charts. I wish we had that with Carson Wentz. His mentality. I wish we had that. Right. But this is it's just there's just not halftime. It pisses you off. It puts us all off. Like I know.
You don't, but I mean, and it's like not knowing Jalen Hurts. It's just they're not. You can't sit there with pom poms and saying he's the man, and that's what they did. You might as well have the girls with the pom poms back there and tell you how great their team is. It takes you off so much, you want to freak out. Like I sit there, I'm like, dude, what am I watching? I'm like, I just picture pom pom girls with the pom poms out there. Like you're telling me how great it is. And you're trying to sell me on something that you're giving me the same product that we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to say we're going to be better. We barely beat Washington last year. I mean, that's just facts.
We beat Washington on COVID. I mean, we beat them when they had no roster, and we barely even won that game.
But you barely won that game.
Football team.
But they put everything on Jalen. It's just like, we want you to be the starter. We want you to do this. And it's like, all right, so what are you going to do to help me out? Oh, no. It's with what you got. Because if you're that good of a player, you're good with whatever we give you. That's the way they look at Jalen. Whatever we give you, you should be good to go with that. You should. If you're a great player, you'll be able to play great with those players that we put around you, no matter who that is.
But that's how they look with McNabb until they gave him T.O. And then in T.O. 1 year, you had a great wide receiver, and boom, you went to the Super Bowl. but you have to have the talent near him. It drives you crazy.
You got to think about that too, because going into the Super Bowl year, Howie Roseman coming out of the boiler room, they put weapons around Carson Wentz. They got Torrey Smith. They got Alshon Jeffrey, but it was cheap though. That's the issue. They were cheap. Jeffrey came here on a 1-year, $8 million deal. Promised he was going to get an extension. Yeah, LeGarrette Blount. I mean, they Jay down the road. I mean, they added some weapons offensively because this is a different market now. We're talking. This is 2017. It's 22 now. Right. So he couldn't just go out and. I mean, look. You can always the cap don't mean a damn thing in some aspects. I'm talking like you're not paying Tyreek Hill that much money. Like it wasn't going to happen. But the cap is the way it is. But if you really want a player, you'll try to get him into the building and try to fit him under the cap. If the Eagles, if Roseman has to make more moves to fit him under the cap, he'll do what he has to do. But why they didn't pull the trigger on a veteran receiver besides the Calvin Ridley trade, which I understand, I can't put too much blame on Howie for that. But it was just like Eagles are interested in this receiver, this receiver, this receiver, this receiver, and then they just boom. They just did not even attempt. Every time they were interested, or they were on the list of who that they're interested in this player, they back off. They backed off. They set their money at certain positions to a certain spending limit, and they backed out when it was too much. Like as soon as another team comes in, we're done.
Right.
It's automatic. They don't have a backup plan. They always have something, one person in focus. That target. But then once that goes awry, they don't know what to do with themselves. They never thought of, well, what if something happens where we can't get this player? What should be our plan B? And they never had that plan B. They're always left scrambling.
I mean, don't you guys? If they truly, in my mindset, right? If they truly believe in Jalen Hurts going forward, why not still try to make a trade for Calvin Ridley, and we can have him next year after he's done with his suspension, and he may not even be suspended the whole year because he's trying to appeal it. So he may not even be out the whole year. So why not? If we can get him cheap, why not try to make a play for him?
Yeah. How is he going to use Plan B?
On his own team. He bet on his team to win. Like it wasn't. He had no outcome in the game. He had no way of changing the outcome. I don't. The suspension was stupid. The one thing I do understand is it was the fact that he bet in a state where you're not allowed to bet. So that's something for the feds or whoever's in charge of that. They need to investigate that. The NFL shouldn't care about it.
Well, that's like Pete Rose. That's the argument that Pete Rose has. I mean, he betted on his own team. He wasn't a player.
Oh, but
he was a manager.
He had a hand
in the game.
He was only a coach.
Right.
And he is never going to be in the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Mm-hmm. I mean,
no, he will. After he dies, they'll put him in.
He's lucky that he's
sad.
He's lucky he didn't get kicked out of football.
You have all this money, so why the hell aren't you hiring somebody to do these bets so your name doesn't come up?
Joey.
Like exactly, moron.
When you hear what the bet was, it was like $1,500. $1,500.
Hey! Just because
$11 million.
That's like a quarter of a game check you would have gotten back. Not even.
Hey, I just want you to realize something real fast. Just because you go to college doesn't mean you're smart.
I didn't go to college. I went to college for like 3 years, but I didn't graduate. So.
Just putting it out there.
Well, I mean, $11 million, dude. That's crazy that you would even bet $1,500.
$1,500, and it was 3 bets. It was 3 bets.
But for a year suspension, nah, I don't think so. That's look. He broke an NFL rule. He didn't break the law. He just broke an NFL rule. So really, he was just stupid. That's it. He was just stupid.
Let's talk about the NFL, who's now allowing gambling to come into the game, who's partnering with gambling sites. NFL is very hypocritical when it comes to it. They want to show that they're above board. In actuality, they're really not.
Baseball is the same way. You can gamble on baseball, but the players are not allowed to gamble on there. Like in football, the water boy is not allowed to gamble. The water boy, the guy that's shooting water down somebody's throat, is not allowed to gamble on their team. It's just if you have anything, the guy that's selling tickets is not allowed to gamble on football. It's just how it is. I mean, it's like, and that's in baseball too. They have like this other standard that is unreal. It's crazy and it's stupid.
Here's some new news right now. So it looks like there's some rumors going around now that the Giants want to trade out of the fifth pick now.
I was reading that too.
goes to show it makes sense for them to trade out. All they want is alignment, so you might as well get more draft capital. Get a possibly
Give him
two
100
firsts.
Dillard. You want alignment?
You don't got a
Give him
quarterback
100
for the future, bro. Like what?
I think
Come
the
on
Giants
now.
are focusing on Linderbaum, how dumb that is, whatever the case is, but that's the guy they're focusing, or Evan Neal, I believe. So
we
they're
could
going to
swap-
want a line. They're
we
going to
could-
want a
we
line.
So-
We could swap picks with the Giants, give them Fletch, and they can give
Right,
us.
right, sure. After last year, no.
Give him 100 Dillard.
Hey,
you can throw
Dillard
100
in the first round
I
pick.
got a question for you
And
guys.
Jalen Reagor.
Is there any chance that Ridley is an Eagle next year?
Isn't able?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Is there a chance that Calvin Ridley is still or could be still be an Eagle next year? I think so.
Possibility, yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody else is going to come up higher now.
Depends on what we do in the draft.
You're not
I mean,
going
you could
wide
see someone like.
receiver.
I mean, Brandon Ayuk isn't really panning out in San Francisco. So after this year, if Debo's still there, maybe they go and get in Calvin Ridley and pair him up with Debo.
I want to know how come we haven't offered, and I understand this isn't something that normally happens. They're the same position, but Rager for Laviska Shenault, how come that hasn't gone down or even passed?
Because
You
nobody
got to-
wants to touch Rieger with a 10-foot pole. That's why.
That was Peterson's guy. He doesn't want Shenault. Make the move.
I don't think that was
I don't-
Peterson's guy. That's
I don't-
Howie's guy.
I don't think it's Rager. I don't think it's the Eagles are just putting Rager on the trade block just because. I think it's because Rager wants out. That's what I purely believe. I purely believe the Eagles are Rager's forcing the Eagles to put him on the trade block. Because you remember hearing in the offseason that he wants a fresh start, all the rumors about that. I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it happening. What we're gonna get, I don't even care if it's a 7th round pick. I don't even care at this point. I think
Wasn't there rumors
ahead.
recently that teams were calling in regards to Rieger? Or supposedly, there was teams interested.
Yeah, because there are teams out there that think they could turn him around. So he can't handle the city. He can't even handle living in his own head at this point. So I mean, is there something there? Did he show flashes this year? Once in a while, yeah, just a little tiny bit, but he just can't handle it. Maybe
That's one thing I think we need to address in the draft too. Is get us one of those top returners. I like that corner from Houston. What's his name? Marcus Jones. The corner. He was like one of the top 2 return guys in the NCAA last year.
Well, I'm pretty sure one of the teams that would have inquired in reference to Rager should have been the Packers, and that's the team that the Eagles should be trying to work with right now because they are desperate for receiver.
They're not going to get rid of Rager.
I mean, I could see
Rager and Whiteside
that.
are
I
tough.
agree with. The Falcons could be one of those teams too, because they need receiver badly. So they could be.
I
They
hope
lost
they're wrong
Gage.
last time.
They lost Gage and they don't have Gage and well, they still have Ridley, but he's going to be suspended, so they don't even have Gage either. They have no receivers at all.
They got Pitts. That's it.
Yeah, but
Right. He's a tight end.
tight
Marcus
end.
Jones, yes sir, yes sir, great player. Always have him in my mocks.
Telling you.
They're not going to get rid of Rager, and they're not going to wait a Whiteside.
We can't. Okay, even if we don't. Okay, even if we don't get rid of Rieger, right? We can't have him returning punts. He's killing us back there.
No,
He is absolutely killing us. We're not getting any. We're not getting any plus in the field position, and he damn near can't even field punts half the time. He's
I
muffing
said it.
them.
I said he always goes. As soon as he gets it, he runs 5 yards back, and then he runs another 2, and then gets tackled. It's like
He runs 5 yards back, 2 yards to the side, and then gets tackled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement that he is literally the worst Howie pick?
Of all time?
No.
I would
got
say
Danny
I would say
I got
JJ's
Fireman
worst.
Fred.
I would say
Fireman-
JJ's worst, to be honest, because JJ is. I mean, yeah, maybe if you put into he plays better special teams and makes tackles, but as a receiver, I think Rager's better because he's just statistically better, but it's not saying much.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much spent a 2nd round pick for a blocker.
At least with Nelson Aguilar, we got separation. At least he can get separation. This guy gets bullied right at the line. He can't even he gets bullied by corners. He's lazy on routes. I mean, and look, I thought Rager would have had a better year. I think Rager screwed up a lot this year, and I think Hurts threw some bad passes to him this year. But I think Rager sucks anyway, so it doesn't.
I mean,
Eagle. Hey, listen, Eagle. If Howie Roseman can get a 3rd from the Chiefs for Rager, I will bow at this man's feet. I will
yeah.
bow
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
man's feet. Like mm-mm.
Anything higher than a 4th round pick, I will. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's too
even-
much, man. That's way too much to give to us. No way. That's way too much. 4th round pick? Are you crazy? That's not gonna happen.
Well, if he even gets that, I will still bow at his feet. That will be amazing. I would.
Howie does not want to admit that he's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
how it is. It's
But no GM wants to admit that.
But I mean, like, yeah, but there's a lot of them that do say, "Yo, we messed up. We're here. We had to get rid of this guy, and we'll go put somebody else in there."
Just
Now,
as
Howie-
humans in totality don't ever like to admit they're wrong. I mean,
Yeah, don't get receivers too comfortable. Not even just receivers, but any position. Don't make it too comfortable for these guys like Quez and Devontae Smith. You want to put as much competition in that room as possible. I don't care if you add Zach Pascal or Devin Allen. That will probably be a special teamer. So they got to add another. I think they will add another. I think as of right now, I think JJ is on the bubble of this roster. I think this is the end. I think because of everybody. I think he's done. I don't think he'll make it on practice squad. Huh?
This is JJ's last year, right? On his contract?
It's 4th year, I believe.
I think
he
it's
was
his
a
last
second
year.
year. He was a second.
Yeah,
round pick.
in 2019. Yeah.
So this is last year anyway.
Oh, and this is another thing you have to take too, and I totally forgot about this. 2019 draft, heavy defensive draft. Okay, they drafted Dillard, which they didn't even have a meeting with him at all. No pre-draft visit, no nothing. Draft Miles Sanders. Draft J.J. Arcega-White. They draft Sharif Miller, was a 5th round pick from Penn State. I mean, and he didn't do much of anything. So you got to take like that. That draft scares me too because it's a heavy defensive draft, and Howie's trying to be the smart one in the room drafting offense. You know what I mean? So, it's this draft is gonna be crazy, bro.
It's
nuts.
gonna I have this feeling that I always say I don't trust Howie Roseman, and he's gonna mess this up so bad that everybody's going to beat their head against the wall. It's just they're going to give you one good pick, and then he's going to mess it up. It's just how I think he's going to do it. And like I say, they're going to get the center. Now, Lindenbaum's a good center, but you already have a center ready for when Kelsey retires. But you're not going to move him from guard to left guard to go be center. So now you got to go with Linderbaum.
Where are you drafting Linderbaum?
I say 20 because I think he'll still be there around 20. I think they're going to.
know.
I think
He
they're
should
going
still
to
be
trade.
there until the 3rd.
I think I'll be pissed.
I'm right with you.
I think I'll be
Wait a
really
minute,
pissed off.
I said that you would get mad.
Listen, no 1st round center has ever made a difference to any team.
It's just
I
what
repeat,
Kelsey said.
no 1st round center has made a difference.
When you heard what Kelsey said, if you guys listen to 94.1, he said, he goes, what do you think the Eagles are going to do? He said, I think the Eagles are going for the center, Linderbaum, because they think he's just like me. And I'm stuck on that one. It's like, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
like,
gonna get a lot of sound clips
I
from
want
us.
to go and put my head through the wall. And this,
Yeah, but I would this year. I would at least try to cross train some guy. I mean, they don't even have a backup center right now. Justiga was like the last backup guy, or Herbig, whatever, as well, and he was horrible. Isaac Samal. What's going to happen with him? Have no idea. I mean, they have to do something with him. I think Driscoll at right guard is. I don't think he's the guy at right guard. I think he's the future right tackle when Lane. I think when Lane moves, I think because I think he played right tackle pretty well. But I don't think we have the guy at right guard. Samal, I would try to at least. He's played center in college before. He's played the position, so I would at least try and do something there. They need to do something, and I don't know. I don't know. I drafting Linderbaum, I get it, but
keep Herbig away from hiking that ball. He was absolutely atrocious last year.
who's
at
thunder
center.
guys that always fucking when he snaps the ball, it just hits his thighs and there he goes. It's a fumble and it's like, what the hell?
yeah, no.
That's Herbig, I think. Herbig was hiking it over their head. I mean, he was.
You can't hike that ball through that ham and bacon. You ain't doing that. It's not gonna happen.
Dude, it
And
hits
you
him
heard
in the
him in the
leg,
press
it
conference.
bounces around. It's like, yo, dude, come on. Like
He admitted to everybody. There was a lot of pressure put on him. There's a lot of him to make the calls, to make those adjustments. That's something that he wasn't prepared to do.
Just to snap the ball,
just snapping
is
the
he
ball.
that nervous? God.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Dallas
but I'm
won
getting
how many
paid a
Super
lot of
Bowls?
money.
I just want to get to Antonio Holmes' comment. Dallas won how many Super Bowls? No changes have been made. The only one, Pouncey brothers. Again, great with the Steelers. The other one went to Miami. Not so great.
No, the Cowboys are taking a big step back next year. That's definite.
Yep, that whole
That's
line is
definite.
deteriorating. The same
Oh,
first
yeah.
round picks you saw, they're deteriorating. Why? Because they didn't put that line to good use. They gave it a disservice by putting Dak that first season. Romo
And
should have stayed in.
they lost their great wide receiver.
So I got a quick question for you guys. Who is so far with everything that has happened? Who is your guys' favorite team going into the season so far to win it all? Just by the way that they've constructed their roster through the offseason.
Chargers. I think Chargers are going to be a big team next year because their defense is crazy. I mean, the pieces they added. I think the Chargers are ready to be a contender this year, 100%.
I think Buffalo.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
They got Von Miller, and they gave him a big contract.
Yeah. What the hell's with these? With Vaughn getting like a 6? Is he going to be able to walk by 6 more years? I mean,
Hey,
what's going
that
on?
money will keep that leg great as long as it's coming in.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I didn't
Oh, no,
understand
I'm
that
like-
either because I made the comment. If the Bills win a Super Bowl this year, you don't think for 1 second Von Miller won't retire? I believe he will.
I don't.
Oh yeah, dude, that gives him 3 rings. Of course, I would walk.
You're going
Go.
to turn.
Like that
You're
bag
going to
before
turn
he
that
goes
money
up.
down.
Yeah,
Teams, absolutely.
I want that bag.
You're going to turn all that money down after 3 rings. Shoot.
You get some money. You even though you retire, you still get some money though. I mean, you do retirement. You get some. It just all depends on how much his contract is worth for. I don't know.
I think
He
with the
getting
AFC
108
West,
million? And he getting like 108 million guaranteed.
Ooh,
that's how much his guarantee is.
I think
Oh
it's
yeah, dude.
guaranteed.
He's getting like 123 mil or something like that.
Yeah, but I think
I
100
thought it was in the 40
but I think
million range.
108
No,
guaranteed or something.
no.
Oh,
That's
no?
wild.
I know it's a lot of money, man, but like Joey was saying, he's you don't know how much, like, he might have 2-3 years max, but if you win a Super Bowl, that's what this is about. They paid him so they can win. It's not about his longevity. It's about how they want to win now, and he's that missing piece. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Next Bobby Bonilla, he's about to get paid for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
that's the best contract ever.
Yes,
Best contract ever. Great
hey, it's
contract.
coming back up. Bobby Bonilla is around the corner.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Pirates are still paying him.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
I think with the AFC West, what they did this season, and every team except for Kansas City, some can say they all upgraded. But I think that battle's going to be too much for them, for any team to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's 6 years, 120. By the way,
Who got that?
120 million guaranteed.
that's Von Miller's contract. 6 years, 120
We've
mil.
done wrong with our lives,
What was
gentlemen.
it guaranteed?
6 years?
What was
Isn't
it?
he already like 32,
34.
44?
Damn.
They got him playing until 40. Listen,
He ain't playing out that
So
contract.
he's
No
getting
way.
like almost. He's getting like 3.5, almost 4 a year. So I mean, I don't know.
That's a lot of money, dude.
well, for
a lot
one thing
of
I will
years.
say about the Bills, though, if they
More than
really
that.
want to have a serious contention at the Super Bowl, they need to get a freaking running back. It's not a joke. You can't go in there with your possible J.D. McKissick, who ended up going back to Washington. Now I forgot who they're stuck with. You need a quality running back. Invest in
Huh.
it.
Right?
Yeah, Singletary is not going to get you there. You need something.
Another punch.
You
Yeah,
do.
another punch in there.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, let me ask you guys this and try to answer as unbiasedly as possible. Who do you guys
Simple.
think in the NFC East? Which quarterback is going to have the most overall touchdowns next year, and why? Let's start with AK.
Oh no, don't start with me.
I see you thinking. That's why I said that. All right, we'll go Joey.
Oh boy, if I could think right now.
Yeah, you got to think about the moves that have been made in the East, the quarterbacks, the new players, the players that have
I
left.
didn't want to answer this. Like I don't.
I
don't
know,
wanna
right?
answer.
I can't answer it. I'll answer it while everyone's still thinking.
Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
We know Carson is not that one.
Be the guinea
Eliminate
pig.
Washington. We know Daniel
we-
Jones is not that one. Eliminate
Right.
New York. We know it's going to be between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott.
More than
Dak
likely.
may have more throwing touchdowns, more passing touchdowns, but Jalen will have more overall touchdowns. I'll say that.
I
Okay.
still
You
have-
got to include the rushing in there.
I was
Right.
gonna say Dak. I was gonna say Dak Prescott, but that's what I was originally going to say. But
Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to say it.
well, Dak can throw the ball. I mean, he can throw the ball. It's
Yeah.
not. It's look. He chokes, but he can still throw the ball. It's not like
Yes.
It's not. You can't.
But with
he
their
chokes
running
in
game,
games.
but with their running game going downhill, is the defenses are going to be able to pinpoint more on Dak in the passing game.
It don't matter.
They're not going to have to worry about Zeke as much.
And I see
Dak
CeeDee
is-
Lamb having a
Dak
down
has
year
no
next
arm.
year.
They got to worry about Tony Pollard though, because he's like the
Yeah.
featured back there now.
Well, and here was my
Years
question.
ago, but last year not so much.
Well, and here
he's starting to go to regress as well.
My question the other night was how much did Amari Cooper truly free up CD? You know, without Amari Cooper's presence, what is that going to do to CD? Can he truly dominate as a number one like he did in the slot? I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
don't
big
know
reason
either.
why I think
I
he's gonna
don't.
have a
He's
down year.
going to be good. I mean, he'll have a good year,
Yeah.
but I don't. How he handles being the number one, I'm not sure. And plus, Dallas is trying to get another receiver right now, so they can draft.
You know who
They can draft a receiver this year.
They can drive it.
CD
You know who
dropped
Dak
too
is
many
gonna
balls.
miss? I think Dak is actually going to miss Gallup more than he's going to miss Cooper.
I thought they
I
had
think
Gallup.
so.
No,
Where'd he go?
Gallup.
Gallup
got
went some.
Gallup.
They got Gallup. He's hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gallup's on a monster contract, dude. Like he got hurt like 2
They
times.
re-signed
That's
him.
what I didn't get. He got hurt twice.
It was Wilson at the end.
It was Wilson they let go. He went to Miami.
Miami.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
No,
But
you're-
Amari Cooper, listen, he's going to have a spectacular season next year. Paired up with Watson, man, and you got that Cleveland rushing attack. That team's going to be that's a team that's going to be good.
Yo, Birdman, I thought because you joined that elite crew thing, man, you'd stop with the nonsense. What the heck, dude? Seriously? Thought you were gonna be starting to take it more serious. That is not
Yeah,
serious.
that's bullshit.
That's the exact
that's-
answer
that's-
I
that is-
expected from.
That's a bullshit list. He can come in
Well,
here because that's a bullshit
Eagle
list.
Slayer made the correction, and I apologize. I should
Yeah,
not have
Come in, bro, if you want. I
That's
explain
a
that.
bullshit list.
Explain that, because you
Like,
sit there and say you're not going to be biased and you're not going to you want to be factual and you want to be real, but that is not freaking real at all.
It's not real.
He
at all.
said
He wrote that under his suite underneath that bridge. That's where he
Birdman
wrote
said
that.
that. He said Carson Wentz is going to come into Philly and beat us next year. He said
Hey,
that.
wait a minute.
I hope not.
It
I really
might
hope
I think
happen.
it might be one game. Let's be honest.
I
You know
think
that-
we'll split with Washington. I think we'll split, to be honest. I hope it's not in Philly though.
We barely beat Washington last.
They're upgraded.
Yes,
They get
sir.
They get Curtis Samuel back too.
Hold on,
So-
I gotta hear his explanation. I'm only letting him in so no one else try and come in. But dude, if you got time to explain this, I really would love to hear it. I got to.
Yeah, who's?
And you're our brother, Birdman. You know we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it real.
Oh, yeah.
He's not keeping it real already.
2 different quarterbacks. Plus, you have a rushing attack with Jalen Hurts as well. So it's
No,
totally.
but I just
different.
don't want him to think that we're going to be like
Totally different.
hanging up on him.
6 to 8 touchdowns. Look. I'm stating facts. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts. I'm not a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I'm not. But I'm going to
We
be
know
real.
that. We know
because,
that.
Like 6 to 8 touchdowns were brought. I think how many? 7, 8.
There he is.
I don't know how many were brought back because of stupid penalties too. I don't even know. But
Explain yourself, sir.
There's
Explain
one
yourself.
from another mother.
Man, that list is easy.
Oh,
That's the easiest
easy?
list I
Come
ever
on,
made.
bro.
let's go through it. Let's go through it.
You just all you said was who's gonna have the most touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
The most total touchdowns.
Yeah.
Total touchdowns, rushing and throwing.
Jalen barely had 16. You don't think
You're
Daniel Jones
discounting
could
the
get
10 in rushing. So
Daniel
that's
Jones could
26.
get 20, 18. That's easy. Carson Wentz could get 25 easy. That's
Daniel
easy.
Jones.
I don't know
Hold on,
what you guys.
Daniel Jones and Carson
The
Wentz.
bar
ain't
is for
even-
Jalen Hurts to get 20 touchdowns.
First of all, Jalen Hurts
That's
had
it.
26 last year. 26 total.
No,
Not 16.
The
you
10
don't
rushing
count
and the
rushing
16 passing.
touchdowns. No. We're talking about
That's why
passing.
that was my initial thing. I said total touchdowns, total, not just throwing. Total
No,
touchdowns for
passing.
the year.
It's passing.
Birdman is a touchdown.
How
not a
do you think
touchdown,
count
not a
passing?
touchdown. Is a
Hey, guys, I
touchdown.
gotta bounce.
What's
They
the
don't
stat?
care about that.
All
stat.
right,
No
hey,
one-
halftime.
nobody
Appreciate you
cares about
coming
that
in, man.
stat.
Thank you so much, dude.
Nobody
Thank you
cares
for
about
having me,
that
guys. You
stat.
guys
Because
are
of
great.
the outcome of the game. The fact that he scored those
I'll catch you
touchdowns
later.
changed the score.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now,
Passing touchdowns, easy. You could change it if you want.
No, it's total touchdowns.
Okay.
Total
Who's gonna
touchdowns.
okay, then who's gonna have the most passing? Then tell me that. Anything changes?
I still think I said it before. Could be Dak, but Jalen could still be the one with the most. Because again, look at what happened to Dallas. They lost key receivers. They're losing key linemen. You think that Dak's going to continue his production?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay, hold on. I got a more
20,
interesting
25,
question.
that's not a-
Let's make this a little bit
That's
better.
the average,
Let's make
that's the
this a
average
little better.
year for Dak Prescott.
Let's make this a little better. Let's make this list the worst from worst to first. Like just all overall potential, like and quarterback wise alone. What is your list between these four gentlemen right here? From worst to first. Just overall quarterback rank wise. What's your list like out of these four gentlemen?
I guess
I think it's
Daniel
the
goes
same.
back to fourth because he hasn't been on the field. That he keeps getting hurt, so it's not enough there. So Hurts would be third, and Daniel goes to fourth.
At least you got the Daniel Jones pick right.
I mean, come on, guys. Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts as it currently stands.
Whoa. Let me
Yeah,
ask you a
yeah,
question. I'll do this. Let me just ask you this question. Do you think if Jalen Hurts was on the Indianapolis Colts last year, they would have done better?
If Jalen Hurts was on the Colts,
Yeah.
that Jalen would have done better.
No, that the Colts would have done better.
The Colts.
Jalen Hurts.
Well, let's just put it this
No.
way: would the Colts make the playoffs with Jalen Hurts rather than Carson Wentz?
Right.
Well, I'll say this. I guarantee you there wouldn't be a game where Jalen isn't throwing the damn ball.
I think they're like real close. I think it'd be kind of the same. Like Carson is like he's not light years away from Jalen. It's just a slight. It's not that much.
He's got
Like
more
don't think I'm putting him. Oh, he's Joe Montana and he's Jalen's trash. It's just we're just talking about like where they're at fundamental wise, and Jalen has a lot to improve right there now. But it's not that far. It's not like I'm putting him. He's so much better. It's not that much that he's ahead of Jalen. It's not really. It's more he could do some more better throwing or whatever. Read a little bit better. So it's not like I mean Jalen, he could maybe he proves it, man. You know, that game when Carson goes to Philly, that game is getting circled. Once that schedule comes out, Carson's circling that thing. He wants revenge, and he's going to take it out. He wants the Eagle fans' heads. He wants that game. He don't care about any other game except that Philly game. That's a Super Bowl.
Last year, I believe Carson Wentz had 3,900 yards, 27 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions, or 11, something like that, right? And Jalen Hurts had 30, I think combined altogether between rushing and passing. He had 36, I think, 37 himself with 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. They're damn near the same player, and Carson Wentz has been playing for 6 years compared to Jalen Hurts' first official full season. So in my eyes, Hurts played better than Carson Wentz did. He underachieved for what he had to work with, in my opinion. When you come in and you don't make the playoffs after a 40-year-old man took you to the playoffs, that's a loss in my book.
Well, Carson, he chokes in big moments. You already seen. We already know that.
Yeah, same as Dak Prescott does the same thing.
Yeah,
I think Dak passes the ball great, but in big moments he chokes, and that's just the way it is.
He actually iced his own team by killing the clock at the end. But hey guys, I was gonna ask you guys this. Okay, look, I was looking at McNabb's numbers, right? And I mean, he pretty much averaged about. He was in the 20 to 25 passing touchdown thing. So I think in order for Jalen Hurts to be the franchise to sell it to to Jeffrey Lurie and all that, I think Jalen has to be like right there, man. It has to be. I think he has to hit 25, man. What do you guys say? 25.
I don't think it has to be a specific number. He just has to show improvement on what he did last year.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, it has to be significant to not to me or you, but to the freaking
for franchise money. It's got to be a big. It's really got to be a big step. It's got to be consistent. Big. It's got to be a huge step this year. It's not till he definitely improved, but not as much. Like he's really got to take another step. He really does.
So like what kind of?
To me, the number lies in overall touchdowns. If he gets over 30, that's great to me, because you have to take into account, right, when they have those long drives that they get down inside the 10, that field becomes so compacted. It's hard to throw touchdowns in the red zone. So he's going to use his legs when he can and when he's able to. And if that gets him in the end zone with his legs, then it gets us wins. I don't care how we get it done, as long as we get it done.
Okay, now let me ask you an honest question here. Now let me ask you an honest question. Are we truly going to look at the full amount of yards, full amount of touchdowns here? Because listen, we do know the emphasis that Jalen Hurts' legs bring. All right, so maybe we're not going to ask him to throw the ball as much as other quarterbacks do to that. Okay, so are we going to look at, okay, well, he didn't throw 30 touchdowns. He didn't throw 25 touchdowns, so therefore we don't want him. All right, what if he throws 23 touchdowns and runs in for 8, but yet his QBR is like a 98.9 and his accuracy is at like an 87, 88? Like, are we really going to sit here and bitch and whine and complain about total yards and total touchdowns whenever he has a QBR over 100, when he has a QB accuracy almost 90%? I mean, if he's doing exactly what the coaches ask him to do and he does it accurately and on time and on schedule and he looks good and his numbers show it, does it really truly matter what his overall stats are?
But the thing, AK, it's not about what we want, Jeffrey, and how we want a passing quarterback.
Well, I'm not talking to Jeffrey and Howie. I'm talking to you all.
Listen, it's not what you're trying to make a point like they're going to keep him because of that. It's not.
No. I'm saying, is it truly the overall number? I mean, if this kid comes out and has a QBR of 100 and 108 for the entire year and an accuracy of 89 or 90%, who cares if the kid throws 3,200 yards and only 22 touchdowns? If his accuracy's there and his QBR's there, is that not an improvement? As long as he shows that he's on point, he reads defenses, and he gets the ball out in time, and he's accurate, right? That's what you want to see.
If he has a repeat performance, he's not the guy.
The thing is, they're worried about the.
I know that.
If he wants to be the guy, he has to get this team to the divisional.
But that's not what I'm asking. Joey, help me out here, man.
Hold on 1 second. You're talking about Hurts being re-signed, and we just saw Derek Carr got re-signed on a 3.
No. I'm not talking about him truly being re-signed. You're asking the question: is he the franchise guy? Well, does that show you he's the franchise guy, even though he doesn't have the 4,000 plus yard flash like a Herbert or whatever you want, and the 42 touchdowns like Tom Brady? If he sits here and he gives you Exactly what I told you. 3,200 yards, but a QBR of 108 and, an accuracy of like 90%. But yet he adds like 800 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. Dude, the overall numbers truly matter if truly the stats and the accuracy and everything is all there. That's the question I want answered. I don't give a shit about Howie. I don't care about long-term deals. I just want to know, franchise-wise, is that fine in your standards?
That's only part of the equation, but you got to take win
Well,
losses.
the thing is, like, can't we? I accept if you can get McNabb, McNabb numbers. I think that's what we already did that. So as long as he gets close to what McNabb was having, then we're fine. But the thing is,
Well, the point I was trying to make is everyone's concerned about Jalen being the man, the franchise guy getting signed. We just saw Derek Carr get a 3-year deal. You can give him a 3-year deal. We all know those 3 years aren't 3 years. They're one in a possible 2. So you can do something like that. So it's not that scary. It's not that serious to worry about if Jalen gets re-signed or if he's the guy to get. It's not that serious anymore. We have quarterbacks taking 3-year deals. You can still make your decision later on. Again, if he shows improvement, you give him a small-time deal. Not saying but you give him a small-time deal. Then if he can get from there, you got your guy. You set him up. But if he can't, then you have your backup plan set in place. You have a small-time deal you can get out of. You have that first-round pick that you can still make a move on. There's no issue. We're in a position now we can just sit back and see the kid play. That's it. We have no worries.
how do you make? Is it more? Is Carr making more money
138, I believe,
3 years than being a franchise tag? Is Carr making more money doing that 3-year deal than being a franchise tag right now? Does he make more money?
I don't know how it's put up, but I think he's making like 35, I want to say, a year, something like that, 38 a year.
Yeah, because if you franchise Jalen, that's 30, right? It's 30 or 28?
Whatever. I don't know how it would be now because with this deal, I don't know what the rankings would be, what the number would be. But yeah, he would be top 5. He'd get in the middle between there.
My whole point about the whole thing is if you're going into this season and expecting this kid to get over 4,000 yards passing, you've already just thrown him out the window because he's never going to be a 4,000.
It's not what he is. It's not what he is as a quarterback. Look, if there are defenses out there that make us one-dimensional and that run game with Jalen Hurts isn't working, then that's on us. I mean, that's on the coaching staff because they're not utilizing his skill set. I'm not saying that he has to get over 4,000 yards. But it's to a point where if you're missing look, it's really, to me, it's really the eye test. Statistics, I could throw him out the door. If it's the eye test, if I see him make the repetitive mistakes he made last year, it's going to be a problem. If I see wide open guys, I feel like Devontae Smith's going to boil over at some point because if Devontae Smith's going up to Nick, give me the ball. He doesn't give him the ball. And then you don't throw to this guy in the Tampa Bay playoff game until 1:14 left on the clock. It's a problem. I think it's I think it is scheme too. I think part of it is scheme. They're treating Devontae Smith like he's the number 3 than the number 1. So I think there's a lot more to it than what Hurts has to do. But when it comes down to it, at the end of this year, the Eagles have to make a decision because now it's extension time. He's got another year left on his contract, but are the Eagles going to keep him or they're going to move on? I think the run game is definitely a big part of this offense. Now, to me, I feel like even with the red zone, they've made a lot of mistakes. The red zone hasn't looked great this year because I think they've used too much of Jalen and his running skill set. They've made it too obvious to defenses. So when you make this team one-dimensional, it's the run game is great. It's just an added plus to Jalen Hurts' skill set. But I think he just has to hit these targets. He has to arch the ball, hit these targets, and you could teach accuracy. He's just got to do it on himself. He's got to do it on his own. So if he misses too many wide open targets where we could have won a lot of games, which last year could have won a lot of games last year. He's not going to be the guy. I don't think he's going to be. If he's got to make a major, it has to be a major improvement. Like, holy crap, he really worked his tail off this offseason. It's up. I'm up and down about it. I am. I'm really up and down about it.
All right, Joey, this is my question for you. Yes or no? If Jalen Hurts has 3,200 yards, like I said, 108 QBR rating, and a 90% passer rating, is he your quarterback after next year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even this, if we were to go into the second round of the playoffs and Jalen has just a little bit better stats than we had last year, I'm pretty much sure that he's still going to get signed. He'll still get signed.
There was games we went to the fourth quarter and he had under 100 yards passing. I mean, there is a lot of games that we went into the fourth quarter like that, but you got to take the running into account. But, did we win those games? That's the big, like winning heals everything. Like as long as you're winning, it doesn't matter, but when it comes down to the quarterback position with Jalen Hurts, like, yeah, I got to see some type of patience in the pocket. I would like to see him, do a little bit more passing wise. But like I said, like, I don't know if there's has Nick Sirianni or Shane Steichen worked with a read option quarterback before? Because I don't think Nick has with the Colts. I mean, do they know how to use him the right way? Are they giving him enough command in his offense? Must command the offense? Is it too robotic? Is it too I mean, it's there's a lot. It's just a lot. So
now my next question for you guys real fast, and I want each of you guys to answer this. Not that we need him to be, but can any of you see Jalen Hurts being a consistent 300-yard passer in the NFL?
I don't think so. Because I don't think it's going to be every game. Like, look, I think a lot of people took like the fourth quarter, like when defenses were playing prevent and everything was like the stats looked better at the end of the fourth quarter in a lot of games. We add all those statistics up, it looked really good because we were losing games, teams were playing prevent, and everything underneath was open. So, I don't think it's going to be like that every single game, but because the running attack is a huge part of this offense right now. So I don't think it's going to be consistent over 300 every game. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And that's why I said, not that we need him to be, I wouldn't expect him to be, but I'm saying like, if he truly like just took on that role, do you think he has the potential that he could hit that? Like, could he do it just in general? If he wanted to, do you think he could?
From all the targets he's overthrown, underthrown, and from every target that he's thrown to this year, I've actually missed targets when he could have had more yards. He surely can do it. He definitely can do it. He just has to. It's the anticipation on these throws is what I'm dealing with right now. And he's working with Tom House. That was an ex pitcher for a lot of years in the MLB and works on metrics of. It's crazy, like especially with Tom House because he works on metrics of the way your feet or your feet are set and because there's actually been some analysts on YouTube that have been going over Jalen Hurts' footwork and how he's throwing off the wrong foot or maybe how he's throwing the ball. Like he only rolls out to his right, and when he can't really throw to his left when he's rolling out to his left. I don't know. Like there's certain things that a quarterback should know going to the NFL, but at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts was supposed to be a backup quarterback. I mean, this was supposed to be our backup guy. He wasn't supposed to be the starter. I mean, some people had him as a 4th-round pick at this point. So,
yep.
Let me ask real quick, guys, before I go. If Howie Roseman happens to land Matt Corral on this team, how bad is it going to be? Or do you think it's going to be a good thing for Jalen? It's going to light him. Freaking firecracker under his chair, or do you think it's gonna destroy the chemistry with the team or something like that because Corral's in the backfield?
What round you talking?
I don't know. I'm just saying if you actually get this guy, yeah.
I don't think it really affects him at all because I mean, there's definitely plenty of news about him around with the fan base. There's a lot of fans that don't like him. There's fans that do like him. So I mean, I think when it comes to his mentality, I don't think it really bothers him. To be honest, will it light a fire under him? Yeah, probably. I think he lights a fire under him every game. I think he has the same mentality every game. I don't think it's going to affect him at all. To be honest.
Okay.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man.
He's not going to cry like Carson Wentz. That's for damn
sure.
That's what they guarantee.
If anything, they're going to be the first one to welcome him to the team. So he's not a selfish player, and he understands that with every position there comes competition. Only the best get to come out in the field and start, and that's something that would drive him.
True.
Yeah. That would be dope because I would love to see that competition in the off season and freaking preseason. I think that'll be badass. But people could take it the wrong way and say, "Oh, no, he's going to take the job right now." And I don't want to hear all that bullshit. It's like, just let it be, and let's see what happens from it. But that's just me. I'm not going to really go off the deep end and be like, "Oh my God, Matt Corral's here." I'm like, I think it's just, I think I'd rather him just get this quarterback thing out of his way, and then we could just focus on football And if Jalen gets hurt or whatever, is having a bad season or whatever, then it is what it is. But I'm not even looking at that. I'm just everything rides with what Jalen's going to do. But Howie also has to get some weapons in here, dude. I'm not sold on what we've done so far, but I got to wait for this draft, and maybe something happens in the preseason and we hire some guy out of the sky or something. I don't know.
Unfortunately, man, as long as Howie Roseman is part of this franchise, quarterback will always be the talk.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, he's especially since we all know what he called us, the quarterback factory. We're never going to live that down. Until he's gone, we're never going to live that down. Unless we get a
keep up the
legitimate.
good show, guys. I'll catch you guys later.
Appreciate you, dog. Thank you.
All right, Bergman.
What's going on, Dante?
What's going on? How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good, bub.
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Thank y'all for letting me hop up here with you guys.
Definitely.
It's no problem. Just chilling, talking some
Always
football,
welcome.
man.
Yeah.
So, Coach, let me ask you, because you got the Houston Texans on your back right now. What do you feel about this Steven Nelson deal?
I feel like it's an okay signing. I feel like it's an okay signing. Nothing jump up and down about it. He was okay last year. Wasn't the best. He had a strong start. He had a strong ending of the season last year. So again, I like what Lovie Smith is kind of slowly building over here. Signing Desmond King, Dak, who was pretty much an All-Pro with the Los Angeles Chargers. Came along strong last year. Was our best defender, was our best DB last year, and adding Steven Nelson over there on the other side of him. I think I like it. It's pretty solid, and I can't wait to the draft, man. But it's a pretty solid low key off season, and getting Veruja Hill, our best linebacker, re-signing him back. I like our move so far.
I'm sorry, that sounds really weird that you just said that. Coming from
Veruja Hill.
Our best linebacker.
Hey, man, we moved on too fast from him.
I thought we did.
Do you think that the defense in Houston is better suited for Nelson compared to what it was in Philly?
I got to see when we get out there on the field. Lovie Smith, one thing about it, he loves to create pressure. He loves to create turnovers. We was tops in the league in creating turnovers last year. At the year before, I think we only had 4 turnovers out of all last year. So we definitely increased on the turnover margin last year. But yeah, I think Lovie Smith can definitely help out, Steven Nelson in that secondary, and just can't wait to see what we draft this coming year. But yeah, I think Steven Nelson can be an okay pickup for us. I like the pickup. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And what about talks of Kyle Hamilton? Is that still going strong?
I think it's a possibility. Now that we at 13, it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility him slipping down out of the top 10. I think it's a possibility with having pick number 3. Now, the only thing I don't know too much about pick number 3. We can go anywhere with pick number 3, but with pick 13, we can go anywhere between safety and a wide receiver. We can go anywhere between that because we do still need another receiver. Even though we did sign Brandon Cooks, I would still like another receiver. Kind of in a slot with Nico Collins being that big body on the outside and Brandon Cooks on the other side. I still kind of want a capable slot receiver like a Garrett Wilson or something like that. But anyway, we also do need a safety because we did lose Justin Reed to the Kansas City Chiefs. So we did get Stewart, I believe, from Cleveland. We did get him, but I think Kyle Hamilton is a valuable option for us at 13.
Yeah. Now, pick 3. Do you think that should be a quarterback?
No. I don't think it should be a quarterback. I think Davis Mills proved enough last year that he's a quarterback for this 1 year. I think he proved enough. I don't think quarterback is an option at number 3. Now, later on in the draft, I believe quarterback will be another option that we can go later on in the draft between the 4th and 5th round somewhere. I believe the quarterback will become an option. I still think we're going to get one in the later rounds, but not at 3. I don't think 3 will be a possibility. I think more of an offensive line or a defensive lineman. It just depends on who drops to it. But I think more of an offensive lineman is definitely open. Aquanu or Evan Neal is definitely most likely open for Houston at that 3.
Hey, let me ask you, because today we seen Baker Mayfield had released some comments where he was talking about his situation with Cleveland. He discussed it. He said Indianapolis was the place that he thought he would end up going to. That fell through. And when he was asked what his opinions were, he mentioned Seattle. But we all know that he's a Texas native. Do you think that there's a possibility he may be coming home to Houston?
I can't rule out anything at this point, but Lovie Smith, has high praise for Davis Mills, and he already committed to Davis Mills. So bringing, Baker Mayfield will be turmoil. To be honest, I would not bring Baker Mayfield to Houston. If you already committed to Davis Mills and you're saying these great things about Davis Mills, I don't think, Baker Mayfield will be an option, but I do think an option is Seattle because I think he have a chance to compete over there with Drew Lock, which is I don't think if they get Baker Mayfield, I think a quarterback will be optionable at that spot that Seattle is in if they don't get another quarterback or get Baker Mayfield. I think at that pick that they're in, I think quarterback will be an option, but I don't think Baker Mayfield is an option in Houston. He's already committed to Davis Mills. We already got Kyle Allen in the room, and Baker Mayfield's not going to want to be a backup, and so I don't think that's going to be a real option for Baker Mayfield.
Pretty good. Well, with Houston taking calls on Brandon Cooks, what are your thoughts on the wide receiver position?
I think it's okay. I'm fine with it. I still think we need a slot receiver. I still think we need another wide receiver. Chris Conley, he was too inconsistent. Moore stepped up a little bit last year, very much. I was impressed with Chris Moore. He used to be a special teamer for Baltimore. I was very impressed with him, how great he played late in the season, including some big catches against the Chargers when we knocked them out of the playoffs. Pretty much. The Chargers will look back at that game, and that's the reason why they really actually didn't make the playoffs when we beat them. But I still think we need a capable wide receiver. I still think Chris Moore is more of a special team than he is a receiver, but he did show some sign. I still think we need a receiver in the draft. I still think we need one, but I like the receiver position. They compete. Nico Collins is a big jump ball body type of receiver. He can also get off press coverage, and we all know Brandon Cooks is when he's on the field, when he's not having a concussion. And I feel solid about our receiver. I think we got a competitive receiving core in that locker room.
Sounds good. Now, my last question is, and we discussed it before.
Yeah.
There's a possibility we may be moving on from Gardner Minshew. Do you think that's someone that Houston may have interest in?
Possibility, but it's going to be a backup. I think he can get second string now. I think he can get second string quarterback now, but I think it could be an option, but nothing more but a backup. Nothing more than a backup.
Man, you really like Mills, don't you?
No, but the problem is I think he done enough to earn another year. He showed poise in the pocket. He showed a lot of grit. He showed a lot of ability that he can take a hit. When he gets pressure, he can take a hit. And he was the second best rookie in the National Football League last year. 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, quarterback rating of 66. That's the second best rookie stat line all of last year. So he's done enough to deserve another year. So he's had some upside, but I don't know about franchise quarterback. He has some upside though. He's shown flashes.
Now, what about the running back position? Because that was something that was in flux last year. Do you think that that's a position that they focus on in the draft?
Yeah, they're going to give – I will focus on that second round. They're already having talks with some of the top running backs. I'm not satisfied, even though Rex Burkhead did have a solid season last year for us as an old guy. We did get Marlon Mack. When he's on the field, he's very good. He had a 900-yard season and a 1,000-yard season when he's on the field, but I still think we're going to get a running back. We're definitely getting a running back in the draft. That's a must running back in the room in the draft. We're definitely going for a running back. That's no question. That's no doubt.
Yeah, like we said before, there's a lot of question marks with Houston. Their needs are mile long.
Is everything. The needs are pretty much everything.
But do you think with, the pedigree that Lovie Smith has with with his defense and how Houston's defense is shaping up, do you think their focus is going to be more on the offensive side of the ball?
I think the focus is going to be a balanced focus. Now that Lovie Smith is in the building, now that he's a defensive minded coach, they already made it clear. Running back isn't definitely an option. Receiver definitely an option. Safety is going to be an option. They definitely going to get a safety. Cornerback, even though we did get Steven Nelson, we did resign King. I still think cornerback is going to be an option. We'll be surprised because Sauce Gardner is getting a lot of buzz. So I think he's going to be picked early than what people expect. I think he's going to be picked real early than what people expect. I wouldn't be surprised right there. But again, the options are open. We can be balanced in the draft between defense and the offense. So we're going to be balanced.
Yo, real quick, guys, we got 24 people still in here hanging out with us. So I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have been awesome. Real quick, I want to thank Joey for stopping in and hanging out with us and talking Eagle football with us. And yeah, man, give yourself a shout out real quick. Not that you need to. I mean, everyone knows who you are, but yeah.
Yeah, dude. My YouTube name is Joey Shake 72. Cover the Eagles all year, every single day. Live streams every day. So yeah, I'm just covering the Eagles. The draft. We'll be streaming the draft, and we're gonna have a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a big mystery what happens, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
That it will.
Always good to talk to you. Always.
Can't wait to see your draft reactions.
Oh yeah, I'm getting ready for it. I'm getting prepared. So.
Hey, Jakes, whenever you're available on Wednesdays, you always got an open seat here, so you are more than welcome, my guy.
Yeah, I figured. If I'm free, I'll definitely I'll ask to hop in and we'll be good. So,
all right, man.
Well, all right, guys.
You can be safe, bro.
Man, have a great night.
Yeah, you too, man. You guys have a great day. We'll talk soon.
All right, Joey.
All right,
bye. Wow, man.
He doesn't like to be called it, but hey, he was one of my first inspirations to do this thing on YouTube. So he's a goat to me. I know he doesn't like to be called it, but he's one of my goats. That's definitely facts right there. I got mad respect for Joey.
Yeah, real good dude, man, and he's got a good heart. He's a great friend, and he's always there when you need to talk. So. He's definitely one of a kind. So shout out to him, man. Appreciate you for jumping on with us.
Always, man, big fan. He's always in the comment section, man. He's always a part of the chat. Always, put out his opinion out there, man. I appreciate him for coming through.
Yeah, always.
And we have killed it tonight, guys. This was amazing. Seriously. 21 people still watching. Listen, guys, if you have not already, please hit that like button on all 3 channels. Please hit that subscribe button. I am on the way to 1K. My boy Philly Foothills is on his way to get monetized. He just needs the views. And my boy Vic down here in the corner, he's on his way to try and get the 1K. And Dante's already there. Shout out to you, man, and all you do. Great content creator yourself. And, yeah, definitely just make sure you hit that like button because that helps get this East Meets West out there for other people to view it, other people to like it. And we want to see this channel grow. We love doing it for each and every one of you. And, we enjoy doing this as brothers. We're all 3 very close, all 4 of us, actually. Gio, too. Shout out to him. He's sleeping, should be. But we're all real close, and we talk every day. And we do this because we love hanging out with each other, but we do it to entertain you guys as well. So it means a lot whenever our chat's full. When we look up and see we were at least up to 27 people tonight, and when we look up and see that, man, that just warms our hearts. So shout out to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Mad respect to all you guys out there. You guys are all the food in the water. You know that. Without you, each and every one of this podcast, our individual channels, it doesn't go anywhere without all you guys. You help support us, and we love it. We try to bring you that great content to show you that love back. And we really appreciate each and every one of you out there, all you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate that, Drew. Thank you, man.
Very much.
Anybody got anything else to say? at all.
Hey, man, just want to appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for inviting me and for being like a family to me, man. Y'all know we talking every day in the group chat on y'all. Sometimes it just be booming when I be up sleeping in the morning. But hey, getting up, being able to speak to y'all,
Sorry about this morning.
Nah, you good. Y'all good, man. I'll be up sometime early, real early in the morning and stuff. Sometimes be up most of the time, but man, it's an honor, man, just to get to talk some football with you guys, to get to know you guys and stuff like that. You know, welcome me with open arms. I'm just, like I say again, remember throughout the first time, AK let me in the stream. We started talking football. Second guest of my channel, Footy-Hills came on and stuff like that. Vic, you know, being on the big ticket. I want to be on there again, probably, hopefully before the draft, you know.
Oh, we're going to do it this Saturday. I'm going to need y'all out.
Come on, man.
East Coast Gridiron, I see you out there too. I'm going to need you too this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, man.
This draft is going to be a big show.
Anytime, man. You know, I appreciate everybody in the chat, you know, that support all these guys up here, man. These guys, you know, like my brothers, you know, I call Footy-Hills Uncle Footy-Hills, you know, call them that. But hey, like I say, man, I thank y'all so much, man, for being there and supporting me and just having me on to come up, man, and, you know, talk some football, man.
Yeah, man. Dude. Love talking.
Hey, man, I just like to say, appreciate Philly halftime for coming through. You know what I mean? He came in a pinch. You know, he came in, bringing the energy, loved it. Thank you for Joey Shakes for coming through. And of course, Coach Dante for gracing us with your glorious presence, my guy.
Yo, and no lie, he got swept under the rug, and I apologize, but we were having a really good conversation. Shout out to Philly Fresh, man, for stopping in. That, you know, appreciate you as well, man. You know, I saw that meant a lot. Appreciate you. We got to get together soon and collab, sir. Definitely.
Let's not forget Birdman _951 for being brave enough to come in and explain himself for his little wacky doodle list of NFC East quarterbacks. Yes, we love our brother from the West Coast, of course.
You know how that mustard gets you?
Right. Yes, as always. Yeah, you guys, I would just like to say real quick, you know, as Eagles fans, let's stay united. You know, we fly until we die. Stay mean, stay green. Thanks for viewing us on your screen. And most importantly, like I always say, keep it fuego.
Boom, boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. We ain't got no music, so I'll do it. Hey, man, everyone have a great night. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Hey,
Absolutely.
Man, great episode.
Don't forget to hit that like. Hit it.
We'll see you next week, Thursday, live for the draft.
That's going to be exciting. You're not going to want to miss that one for sure.
Are we doing Wednesday too?
That lived for years.
Or are we doing Wednesday too?
No, just Thursday. Thursday draft night.
I think we'll just switch it.
We're not double hitter.
I mean, maybe we never know. Maybe we could do another live or something. You know, maybe not necessarily East meets West, but maybe
we'll call it the double blinker.
It depends if I have to decorate.
All right, y'all. We love all you guys. Thank you all for so much of the strong, like AK said, the strong support in the chat tonight was absolutely unbelievable. And we can't continue to do this thing without each and every one of you. So keep up that great support, and we're going to keep bringing you this Fuego content. So until next time, we out, y'all. Peace.
Bunker.